much toast as the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. I'm James Gisanti, joined by Matt Cascone, and we are here on Monday night to talk about it, the first ever Monday Night Raw of, as Triple H dubbed it, the Netflix era. Lots to talk about because there was a lot of talking tonight. But Matt, before we get into the nitty-gritty, give me your basic thoughts. What did you think of the Netflix era debut?
And for Netflix, brother, mixed feelings. I mean, the presentation in the beginning was top-notch. I think Triple H did what he wanted to do in Brooklyn TakeOver and just did it much better. So props to him. But then it just seemed like we knew what we were getting, which was a lot of returns tonight, but I was even surprised by how little wrestling there was. And the crowd was not always like on their side. And we'll talk about that later, where they turn on a segment. And ultimately, this is the kind of show that if you're an open-minded wrestling fan, if you're not like one way or the other, you're not a Marvel, you're not a DC, you're just open to whatever. This is the kind of show that just makes you want to run to AEW. And we'll get through the good, the bad, and ugly. But that's my for the most part, I didn't enjoy it.
It's interesting that you mentioned, AEW. It's interesting that you mentioned like the Marvel DC. I'm putting this out there, but like the chocolate vanilla type thing, because I had a lot of casuals hit me up saying they were watching WWE tonight because it's on Netflix. They were excited. They were watching it and they enjoyed it. And I think it speaks to the brand that WWE is. I saw a lot of people on our Twitter going back and forth with us where the sentiment was kind of the same, whether or not you liked it or not. It makes you appreciate the differences between WWE and a company like AEW, or what I spent a insane amount of time talking about this weekend, which is New Japan. There are so many different flavors of wrestling out there right now that you can enjoy as a fan. And some of it is going to be tastier to other people than others. Some people want chocolate. Some people want vanilla. Some people want Rocky Road. I had so many people saying, wow, oh my God, WWE's production value tonight was insane. And let's give credit. Their production value was insane tonight. She agrees.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just jump in with that real quick. They had like a guy in the video package where Triple H was narrating. There was a painter, man. Rob Schamberger, he picked the wrong time to not re-sign with WWE and go to AEW, because like that man, that other bald artist, I don't know who he is, but he was soaking up the sun, getting the limelight in that intro package with Triple H.
No, I agree. That painting bit was great. We'll get to that in a second.
Quick note: Rob Schamberger was WWE's like on-hand artist. He did all their paintings for a while, and he just recently quit in 2024, or didn't resign. I don't know the details. He's now with AEW.
A name that literally handful of people know, but good for you,
Now
Rob.
more.
Now more. But good for you, Rob, for jumping ship to a different company at a very interesting time. But let's get into it. Let's get into the first segment of the night, which was, as you alluded to, Triple H in the ring. We had a very passionate WWE montage going through the then, now, together, forever kind of stuff, where we saw highlights of some of the biggest and most memorable moments in WWE history. They showed Cena, they showed Flair, they showed Andre, they showed Hogan, they showed Rock. If you're in good standing with WWE, you were in this video tonight.
Flair was questionable though. Do we want to?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was like from I forget what exactly it was, but it was like from prominence to obscurity, and it shows him like doing the walk in the robe to then getting super kicked by Shawn. And I love that. I was just like, I don't know if they realized what they did there, but just fantastic.
Brutal. I hope Rick can take a joke or a jab as good as he can take a super kick.
We know he can't, but he's still kicking. But yeah, Triple H then again, it was a nice montage that was played over 4 curtains that were held above the ring. That was a very cool, different touch from WWE. WWE is always great at stuff like this. They know how to one, they know how to make a montage video. 2, they know how to pump up their production to really maximize how professional they look. And I think they nailed that across the board in this opening. Then the correct and Triple H is in the middle of the ring, and it's like you said, it's sort of what we've seen already. It's sort of what we're familiar with from Triple H, asking the crowd, of course, that big question that he always knows the answer to, but he always has to ask, and it was, "Are you ready?" And with that, the Netflix era of Monday Night Raw goes off with a bunch of pyro. I'm not insulted by it. I'm not insulted by the segment, but at the same time, we have been here, we have done that, and on a certain level, it almost feels like, look at Triple H making sure the world knows this is his era of WWE.
Yeah, I would have not done the pyro. I would have done the pyro at the beginning of the show to kick it off, then do the video package. He could be in the center of the ring and then just like have KO come out or something and like just do something that's not just like, hey, I did the intro for you, even though we kind of already did the little like soft intro. Now I did the hard intro, and then we're going to get a re-intro by the next person up in the segment that you will let us know about when you're ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. No, I again, it felt very grandiose, and it felt very for the sake of, I'm here and I'm Triple H.
So no no fireworks. It was my note, Triple H. Just so you know.
I don't even have an issue with the fireworks. I just have an issue. I guess if I have an issue, it's that this happened at all. Eric in the comments saying also the space they made for the extra fans was sick. We've seen this. This is something that WWE's been doing on big Monday Night Raws now, that they get rid of the bigger Titantron, they get rid of the bigger stage, and they have a much smaller entrance that the wrestlers walk through. One, to allow fans to allow for even more seats, and 2, to allow for a bigger feel for the fans to be part of the show. And we saw that with this next segment with The Rock, the People's Champion, member of the board, The Rock. Rock coming out. Can't read that caption, so I'm not sure what it says, producer boy.
Yep, Triple H in the ring when they lift the curtain. Oh yeah, it's yep. Brooklyn takeover.
Yep. But moving forward with The Rock, man, I know like we all kind of laugh and joke about the Goosebumps meme at this point, but at the same time, he legitimately does get them every time he walks out. It is a cool thing to see that he cares so much. And he came out wearing his custom People's Champion title belt that was given to him by Muhammad Ali's widow.
Good job.
He really took his time coming out, really embracing the fans who were there for him, who were cheering for him. I think they were a little hesitant at first. There you go. There's the Muhammad Ali poster.
My favorite from the actual fight. Keep going. Sorry.
You could tell that the fans were a little hesitant initially in giving him any love and giving him any support. But once they did, they really did. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. From BX, the Intuit Dome, which is where WWE was tonight, also has a really steep section for Clippers season tickets holders that was behind that stage. So they really packed that area. Yeah, no, they, I believe the number they announced was over 17,000 seats sold. as The Rock says a little bit in this segment, and believe me, he got into all the corporate stuff. This was the biggest WWE gate of all time. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know what they were charging for these seats, because I just don't know how this was a bigger gate than any of their WrestleManias, but apparently this was. So that's very good for WWE. But Rock comes out, gives the belt to his kids who are ringside with his mom and his wife. And then he gets
Not
in the
Ava
ring.
Ray and the other two kids.
Yep. He says that years ago, when he was a little rock traveling around, a little pebble, traveling the highways with his dad, Soulman Rocky Johnson, the only way to watch WWE was to buy a ticket or watch it on Saturday morning. But now things are totally different because you're watching it on Netflix. He says this is a new arena gate for WWE, and that means finally WWE has come to Netflix. And Rock, he admits, saying that he knows what the fans are really waiting for, and he says, finally, The Rock has come back to Los Angeles. He does all, oh boy, here we go.
What happened?
Somebody I'm not bringing in.
Gotcha.
He says that when it comes to partnerships, you need to have a partner that you love and that loves WWE and loves professional wrestling, and that partner is Netflix. He shouts out some executives. He threatens them with the Squid Games reference. And I think the feed got broken because I think The Rock cursed at that point. I think he dropped an F-bomb.
He said that when he went up to the announce table, he definitely dropped an F-bomb, like maybe like how the F are you, and they dropped that. Yeah. But they show the execs up in like the the box, the sky box, this man and woman. And God, I've never seen two people who don't like wrestling, who don't like WWE more than them. They like money. That's what they're here for, folks. The money.
No, they also want recognition, and they got it. They got it from that.
But they have no interest in like actually sitting down and watching a WWE show, is what I'm saying. Like,
no, and I'm sure, but I'm sure they were into the electricity of that crowd who was eating this up. He then, after thanking the Netflix executives, he then talks about someone else in the crowd. He talks about a man who has spilled blood with him all over the country, and he's ready to do it again. He acknowledges that this man has carried the company on his back for the last year, and he's been doing an amazing job. And then he thanks Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion, who is in the front row behind commentary. He then tells Cody to tell Mama Rhodes hi for him. I hated this. We will get into it more in a second when I'm done recapping. I hated it. And joining us for this epic, historic Monday Night Raw Mark It Down podcast review, Daniel Hernandez, Skibbo himself. What's up, buddy? Okay, then.
Not off to a great start with it. You and me are on fire, though.
Oh, yeah, we're killing it. He then acknowledges his cousin, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the original tribal chief. And he talks about the tribal combat that is going to follow. And he says he will be watching. He's a proud high chief of Samoa, and he carries that title with pride, respect, and Mana warrior spirit. He loves Los Angeles and Netflix, and he wants to get the show on the road. So he asks if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and that's it. Gotta say, I hated. Eric, try to bring Danny back, I guess.
Sorry.
Bless you. I'm not sure if Danny's muted. Not sure if Danny's with us. But yeah, I hated this because it broke so much kayfabe. It broke so much storyline. I get that The Rock is one of the faces of corporate WWE. I get that. I get wanting to acknowledge the Netflix executives. Somebody on that show was going to do it. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be Triple H. Fine. I get that's part of the job. The Cody stuff was ridiculous. For one, it's not his show. He's not the Raw champion. Gunther is, and Gunther didn't even make it live to Monday Night Raw. Hated that. We'll talk about it later. 2, they have been in a blood feud for months and months. Every time Rock has appeared on TV, it has been with Cody Rhodes, it has been with Roman Reigns, and it has highlighted the rivalry that Rock and Cody have. That is the match that most people are looking forward to. Not Roman Rock, although I am, but a lot of people are looking forward to. There he goes. You need to bait him out, you know, like you got to throw the worm out, you got to throw the line out and hope that you reel him in. I'm looking forward to the match, but this wasn't The Rock. This was Dwayne. You know, I hope so, but thank you, BX, in the comments. But the reality is, this is corporate Rock. It just is. This tweet: The Rock in the NXT parking lot when mother effers try to start some shit with him. I was doing my best to avoid cursing, but I just couldn't with that tweet. I hated the interaction with Rock and Cody. I hate that Cody seemed to be loving it. I hate that we're just like wink, wink, nudge, nudging. And the reality is, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more following the tribal combat. The reality is it's probably because Rock isn't going to be at WrestleMania. He's probably not going to continue or finish that story with Cody. So they probably just don't want Rock to be a heel for those random appearances that he makes where the crowd doesn't know if they should cheer him or not. So it's a bummer. I didn't like it. Interesting tweet here. The Rock didn't address himself as the final boss once. Very interesting.
Imagine he's got a split personality. He's got Dwayne Johnson. He's got The Rock. He's got the final boss. He's got corporate Rock. I don't know where I'm just trying to salvage something here, man. Because, yeah, this sucked. And also, it just bugged me that Cody was just there in the crowd. Like, did he even have the title? Like, I don't think he did, right? He's like, hey, look at me in my 3-piece suit.
And Danny said something in our chat where he said that this was just very, like, self-applauding. This was very... this was Rock giving himself props. And realistically, I would have preferred that. But I don't think that's what we got here. This was The Rock just being a corporate face. This was The Rock just doing the corporate lines. And that's just not as appealing. Like, if The Rock is there to put himself over, at least as a Rock fan, I can enjoy it. And if you're not a Rock fan, you could boo that. But there just was nothing here other than, welcome, I am here to thank the people that need to be thanked. I didn't enjoy it one bit. Danny, what did you think of it?
Oh my God. You can hear me okay now, right?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
All right, cool. First of all, Matt, are you drinking a peach pear LaCroix?
Pamplemousse?
Oh, damn. Okay. I'm drinking a peach pear one. I thought we had the same one for a second.
Have you tried the new strawberry lemon?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
Banana. It's good, yeah.
I'll check it out. All right, that's the important stuff out of the way. Look, this was a lot of self-fellatio from WWE to start this show, and God damn it, could I not stand this shit? Sorry, I've already cursed twice in one go, but this was unbearable. Like, I get it. WWE, this is not new. They've been doing this for decades. Even when they weren't that good, they would still find ways to be like, well, we have more views than all these other sports that are bigger than us. You know, they always found that sort of way. But now that they are hot again, man, are they insufferable about it.
Yep.
It is non-stop. It is egregious. And the thing is now is that they have shooters. They have fans on their side that will defend this shit and be like, well, they can do what they want because they're on top or they're this, and that. I'm like, cool. How much better would it have just been if Rock cut a wrestling promo and not a PR speech? Like, that shit was a waste of time. And it just came after Triple H's obligatory self-fellatio for opening speech as well. Why do we need them back to back? And then we had to sit through a Roman Reigns entrance, bro. Like, the beginning of this show was a fucking a marathon where you have a boulder attached to you. Like, this was a slog to get through and nothing of substance. Just imagine Rock said his 1 or 2 PR lines and then was like, now back to business. Cody Rhodes, you bitch ass motherfucker. We're not done. Like, all you had to do is make a little tease, or even if you're one of those losers that want the Roman match, even if you made a tease about that, just one of those little things. You do that to yourself, buddy. But
I want the match. I don't care. I want the match. It's going to be fun.
Me too, even if it sucks. Like,
it's gonna be the worst match. But
It'll be. Are you saying it'll be worse than Rock Cena 2?
Maybe not, because maybe Rock won't get hurt during it. But like, it won't be as good as Rock versus Eric Rowan. So like, why bother?
Agreeing with you in the comments is Eric saying exactly, Danny. Even if the Cody match isn't happening this year, Rock still could have done that and it would have been fine. I already kind of addressed it. They just don't, because the match most likely isn't happening. They want Rock to be a beloved character until they could turn him heel again for that feud.
There's still Cody like haters though. Like, I mean, you can't think that there's not. I mean, I was at Saturday night's main event. Did Kevin get as big a cheers as Cody? No, but he still had a lot of support there. And I think anyone who's like, it's like, oh, is it time to hate on Cody? There's going to be a decent portion of the crowd that's into it, especially if it's The Rock.
Or if it's just Bloodline fans in general, because they're a little
rather insufferable.
Slow. But yeah, what you said. I want to be nice. I swear to God, I really do. It's so hard. Producer boy, you want to say something?
I just wanted to get some clips out of you. So now that we kind of have an idea that it's not going to be Cody versus The Rock, where do we think we land now that we got the Seth and Punk match early? Where do we think we land with Cody? Who's his opponent? What's the deal? Does he make it to Mania?
I got you. So easy, right? He beat Cena. Like he beat Cena, denies him 17 for now. For now, James, just for now.
Oh no, I want it. I have no desire to see John Cena win the 17th World Championship at WrestleMania. I want him to lose every match until the week after WrestleMania, because I won't be able to go to WrestleMania this year. And if he wins 17 and I will be in a different country, I might fucking cry. So let John Cena. What?
At the very least, you're gonna cry.
You're gonna cry.
Yes,
no
but
what.
I want them to be. I want at WrestleMania for it to be happy tears, and for me to have happy tears at WrestleMania, John Cena will lose, and it is the only time in my life that I want John Cena to lose anything. So he and I talked about it last week. I'm just as important to his journey as he is to me in general, and he wants me there. So for me to be there, it just can't be the week of WrestleMania. It can't be the Monday Night Raw after Mania. It can't be the Friday Night SmackDown before WrestleMania. It can't be at NXT. It can't be at WrestleMania. Just that week, we're blocking off of the fucking calendar. Okay? So, John, no winning any Royal Rumbles. No winning any Elimination Chambers. The story you had where you couldn't get a match at WrestleMania and somehow you wrestled Undertaker. Don't know how that happened, but it did. I need that for realsies this time. Okay? Nobody wants to wrestle you. You are below Andrade until the week after WrestleMania.
How good was that Undertaker John Cena match? Oh man.
Hated it. Fucking hated it.
One of the best matches of Cena's career, honestly. Up there with the Lesnar match. But
it's a reminder from Mark It Down that John Cena does follow us on Twitter.
That is not impressive. He follows everybody.
No, but the idea is he could potentially see this. I love Cena, and I will follow Cena until the end. The only place I don't think we would ever go to for political reasons is Taiwan.
Saudi Arabia.
But missed the joke, but okay.
Hold on, I want to say one thing. I just love how The Rock, he said it twice. Before we get this show on the road, it's like, no, we're already on the road, dude. Like, we already went through one segment. This is the second segment. The show is started. The show is underway. Like, I know it's just a saying, but like, God damn it, put a wrestling match. Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Right?
We
Like, not
did
even,
the-
we would
the
like a
first-
match, but like, you can just do a normal wrestling segment. It doesn't, they had multiple PR events before this. They had one 4 days ago. Do this shit there, bro. Just
They have
have an
after
angle.
parties. They have after parties. Like, come on.
What's crazy is a lot of tonight would have worked better if you reconfigure it. If Triple H needs to be Triple H and open the show, that's fine. But instead of having Rock come out, do the Cena segment. Because the crowd was very into the Cena segment. I know a lot of people were emotionally invested into the Cena segment. So do that, then segue into Tribal Combat. And then, Danny, as you put it, have Rock show up after Tribal Combat. It's not a surprise because we all knew he was going to be there, but as like oh my God, this is the first time we're seeing The Rock afterwards. It works so much better. It changes the flow of the show. Please go ahead.
If I can just quickly, just to wrap up, Producer Boy's bait question he asked us earlier. Honestly, a Mania, besides the fact that James won't be there, you just have Cena lose. You have him fall short. Whether it's against Cody or Gunther, no matter which champion he faces, he should lose. Make you want it more, make you sad first, make you think he's not going to do it, and then come like SummerSlam or whatever lame ass pay-per-view you want to do it on, you can do it there. I'd rather him never win it, but I'm going to put that aside and be realistic and understand that he's probably going to win it. So
And we'll talk about that during the Cena segment. We'll delve
but
into
just
that.
this is just for to answer this our weird friend's question. Like, you just have a match like that, or if that's the best thing you can do for Cody is have him beat Cena. Do the guy who did Cena's shtick better than him, the guy who did Cena's stick without getting booed, the guy who modeled himself after Cena and has done it successfully in all the ways Cena failed. And I know it's weird to say that now because everyone's cheering Cena, but that's the reality.
And Cody
of
is
the
getting
situation.
booed.
Barely. It's not comparable. Like,
it's not comparable yet, but give it time. I think it's just going to grow.
We've been giving it time for 3 years. Like,
but this is the first time that he's actually getting booed. Like, there's always been like weird online Cody haters, but this is the first time that Cody's actually getting booed at arenas.
And they didn't do him and Kevin at Survivor Series probably because it's in Canada and they knew Kevin would get cheered big time.
Mr. Penguin in the comments.
That's a very, of course, he's going to get cheered in Canada.
Mr. Penguin in the comments saying Raw was very cinematic tonight. And I'd agree with that. It was a very cinematic show, both in its presentation and the content that they delivered. But
I would say that it looked at the most positive thing I will say about this show is that it looked fantastic.
Yes,
I didn't
absolutely.
like the lights in the crowd. Like, there was like a lamp at each seat that bugged the shit out of me.
I loved it personally. I loved it. What?
Like, just sitting there must have been obnoxious. Like, does this lamp look me?
It was part of the arena. It's part of what the Intuit Arena provides. I thought, Mr. Penguin in the comments saying Homelander Cody is the heel that we want. Personally, I would love it if it's Cena versus Cody, babyface versus babyface, and then Cody kind of replicates WrestleMania 17 and just turns monstrous heel on Cena, costing him the match. Obviously, and if he does it with Triple H, that would actually be kind of great. Like Triple H taking the Vince role. Oh man, I'm getting hot and bothered. But let's just finish up this bit with The Rock. Very corporate, very cold,
very heartless.
Yeah, very heartless. There wasn't any soul to this whatsoever. To me, I'm one of those people who is always still going to be happy to see The Rock show up, but this isn't how I want to see The Rock show up. I would rather see what we saw after Tribal Combat. I would rather see the stuff he's doing pertain to the show. BX in the comments saying it's still too soon to turn Cody heel, ... And WWE needs him in that role right now. Oh, I'd agree. I think, personally, I think if it happens and it happens at Mania in April, I think you could transition certain things where you have now a babyface Roman Reigns, you have CM Punk, you have main event Jey Uso. You do have those baby faces, but obviously they're not corporate baby faces. They're not mass appeal baby faces the way Cody's been all this time. But yeah, no, lot to digest there. But after the Triple H segment and the Rock segment, and as Danny alluded to with the beginning of our next segment, which was the tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and I'm not doing the John Cena promo because we're not there yet. We got basically to 31 or 32 minutes before the first bell. So just I know not to expect an immense amount of wrestling from WWE on their weekly TV or at their pay-per-views, I guess. But a half hour of just grandiose self-indulgence does feel a little much, even from WWE.
Yeah, 32 minutes, something like that, yeah.
So just a bummer. And that's when you include Roman's entrance and Solo's entrance and all the pageantry that follows that. It's just really weird bit. Just a really weird bit. Let's see. We got two comments here. Mr. Penguin saying Hogan getting booed out of the building. Yep, that was art. Thank you,
Best part of the
California.
night.
Yep,
Oh yeah,
absolutely amazing. Mr. Penguin saying that didn't work for him, brother. Yeah. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think we could all agree in saying fuck you, Hogan. You know?
My favorite part of the night, honestly.
Yep.
we'll get to that. And oh man, I've got some words on that one.
Oh, we all do. But I'm looking forward to what you got to say. But yeah, we are now at the tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa to declare the definitive tribal chief of the bloodline and I guess of the family. The match starts, typical circling, collar elbow, doing all the struggling bits. This being a tribal combat match, of course, means that there are no disqualifications and no countouts. Something that certainly hurt a match that came later in the night. But basically, getting closer to the finish, Roman and Solo had gone to war, having put each other through tables, having hit each other with the stairs, fighting on the outside, all the shtick you would imagine from a Falls Count Anywhere type matchup. As Roman puts Solo through a table with a power bomb, a very unstable power bomb, by the way, something that I was a little worried he wasn't actually going to hit. As the ref is going for the 1, 2, 3, the pin is interrupted by the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. He then brings the fight to Roman, beating him down. He goes for he hits his moonsault, his pop-up moonsault. He then goes for the Samoan, Solo then goes for the Samoan spike, but Roman kicks out of it. Solo then hits the referee with the Samoan spike and kicks him out of the ring. At this point, Tama Tonga had gotten involved, and Jacob and Tonga are holding Roman up, but out comes Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso to make the save. They take out the new Bloodline members, super kick Solo, haluva kick to Solo, and then Sami throws Solo into Roman, but there is no referee. Another referee comes out, but it's too late. Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu then return, take Sami and Jimmy Uso out. Roman is lining him up for the spear, but out of nowhere is Kevin Owens, and he hits a stunner, allowing Solo to go for the pin attempt, but Roman Reigns kicks out. KO then continues to attack Roman, when out comes, music and all, Cody Rhodes to make the save. Cody and Kevin are brawling. Cody Cutter, and then I think he had a crossroads as well. We then go back and forth, and Solo goes for the Samoan spike, but Roman is able to duck it and hit the spear, getting the 1, 2, 3. And with that, Roman Reigns becomes the undisputed tribal chief of the entire bloodline. At this point, Paul Heyman, who has been carrying the Ulafala, is that it?
You got it.
The Ulafala, he presents it to Roman, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, coming down the aisle, gets in the ring, takes the Ulafala from Paul, squares up with Roman, takes a second, staring him down, and then puts the Ulafala around Roman's neck, acknowledging him as his tribal chief. They then shake hands, hug, and express to each other their love and admiration. Roman then takes a moment, and then puts the one up. Paul throws his one up, and the celebration is over. And thankfully, with that, this storyline is over. I thought this match was fine. All right, let's see. This tweet: the apologies better be as loud as the disrespect. Give Roman Reigns his credit. Give Solo Sikoa his credit. What a match, this tweet. In the comments, we have Nathan. Oh, no, hold on. Hello, Nathan. How are you, bud? Thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed Monday Night Raw, and I hope you're enjoying joining us here at the Mark It Down podcast. And
Yeah,
with
Nathan, you're for us.
Danny.
You're for us, Dan. Oh, sorry. Go, Danny. Go.
No, great. Carry on with your Nathan for you reference, please.
Hey, he got it. I'm glad whoever online really liked the match between Solo and Roman. I thought it was fine. I'm kind of in the same boat as James. What did you think, Danny? I just posted a reel on our Instagram. Check it out after the show.
I mean, I thought it was mid, but also I just wanted to point out that iBeast is a comedy account, and it's someone you should laugh at and not ever take anything they post seriously, because they're like a little like kid doing a parody account sort of thing. But anyway, the match was mid. Like it was okay. It existed. Stuff happened. I wish more stuff happened. I thought it was pretty boring up until the run-ins, and even the run-ins I thought were like a watered down version of the past two WrestleManias.
Yeah.
Because I even thought the WrestleMania 39 run-ins were better than this. And my biggest gripe, and I probably would have turned around this match a lot more if either Drew McIntyre came out or KO's interference caused Roman to lose. I think this match is better if Roman loses. I know you just said thank God the story's over, but like at this point, what else is Roman gonna do now? Like he's not facing any adversity. Like he's had a pretty easy go of it since coming back. Like everyone's forgiven him without him apologizing. He hasn't really done anything to earn that besides saying the word yeet once on TV. Like he's not he got pinned by Solo once, but they've won every other match. Like, so what's the struggle here? Like, Solo's a joke. I don't take him seriously, but like, he's at least endearing as a joke. He's leaned into it a little bit. Like,
Especially at house shows.
yeah, like give him something here and have it be Drew, have it be Kevin. Further this group that's bubbling under the surface between Kevin, Drew, and Seth. Why did and this is we'll get into this, but like, why the fuck was the Jey Drew match on this show? Bro, I'd rather Drew have been involved in this and just have the women's IC title final. Like, there's so like this. Oh god, so much of this jarred with me. Like, I just think there's more to do, and that's why, even though this is technically some of the, we didn't get a lot of substance on this show, but like this technically was substance because it was he got the Ufala back, and that was a big deal months ago. It feels like less of a big deal now, but like, I think they could have done more with this. And I'm a guy who, like, you can disregard everything I say because no matter what they do, I'm still gonna not like it. But like, this could have been better. Like, I'm not a bloodline guy, but like, I think this didn't feel like a great payoff to all the bullshit we've gone through. Like,
I'm with Danny mostly on this one. I think I know why Roman won, and I'm not saying I didn't want him to win, but I think it still could have worked better for Solo. That being said, what they did, I thought was fine. I was very annoyed that, Roman kicks out of a stunner. It doesn't make Kevin look good. And then I would have just had Rock. What he did was great. I love how he comes out and he does it instead of Paul. It's kind of like, Paul, I'm going to prevent you from maybe doing some cultural appropriation here. Yeah, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to take the reins, so to speak.
Nice.
I think this is thank you. I think this is literally the only thing Rock needed to do tonight. He might, maybe he could have done afterwards. You know what I mean? Maybe not, they could have maybe tried to separate it where, it's like, we're going to a commercial break. Roman's leaving, but Rock's going to just say finally the Rock has come back to, to whatever.
Or imagine he said, finally the Rock, or finally the Ulafala has come home. And then gives it to Roman.
That would have been cute, honestly, and unexpected and original. Danny, way to think on your feet there, dude.
And that's more impressive considering he's only got 1 foot going on right now.
That's right. I forgot.
Ugh, that's so true. I was just adjusting my brace.
Sorry, buddy.
Personally, I'm happy. We knew Roman was going to win it back eventually. And I feel very bad because I like Solo, but he is so clearly in a position he shouldn't be in. Solo right nepotism. Now. Oh, yeah. Solo is a good, strong mid-card act. And him being presented in this role as somebody who, in any capacity, was some level of legitimate threat to Roman, always just felt untrue. It just didn't feel real. So
no, when it felt, sorry to interrupt, but when it did feel real, when he didn't talk and he was Roman's heavy. That's completely the only time it felt real.
And this took too long to get here, and I understand they wanted to build up to big matches for Raw and Netflix. I understand that, but this was a storyline like much of the Bloodline story arc over the last several years, that if you cut out a lot of the fat would make for a good story, but because of how long it took to get to certain points, a lot of people fell off. And I don't think this is really any different. So on some level, do I understand you guys saying maybe it would have been better for Solo to have won it? Sure. But to me, that just means the storyline continues. And worse, I think it just continues putting Solo in a position he shouldn't be in. In an ideal world, if this storyline is over now with the culmination of Roman beating Solo, that means the new bloodline is free to go off and do other things. And if they are free to go off and do other things, I think Solo is going to be under a lot less scrutiny, and I think he could develop a lot more naturally. So this was, to me, if they continue it past this, I think that's crazy. I don't know what more you could pull from that well, but who knows? We'll find out. That said, if you don't continue this storyline, no, I have no idea what Roman Reigns does after this. And that's something that's acknowledged later in the night as Roman Reigns is walking in the back with Paul Heyman. Roman's got the Ulafala around him. And when Paul asks him, what's next? When are we going to do anything? Roman says January 27th. So, and then as they close the door, you see 2K25 on the door, thus leading us all to believe that Roman will probably be the cover superstar for 2K25. I don't know where Roman goes from here. I don't know where the new bloodline goes from here. I do think that the new bloodline has an open road now that they could work with. Jacob Fatu proving that he is not a one-note character and he has a lot of comedic timing. Back to Eric in the comments.
Eric saying, as far as pulling from the well, there's a huge star in Jacob who you could have separate from Solo, and that could easily be a Mania match. Sure, I don't disagree. I love Jacob Fatu. Everyone who watches Jacob Fatu could recognize that this guy is a star. He is a stud, but I don't know that it makes sense to put him in a match against Roman at Mania unless you're going to have Jacob win. And I think same thing, that you could have Jacob versus Solo. I think that's the match you were saying for Mania. Sure. But I am weary of having that match because in doing so, you are burying the fuck out of Solo.
Even if he wins, even if he buries Jake, everybody knows that Jacob Fatu is better than Solo Sikoa. Like, Jacob Fatu got in really good shape. Like, he was the same body type as Solo Sikoa. And I'm not knocking Solo Sikoa's body type. I'm just saying before Jacob came to WWE, he got really cut really fast. He wrestles better than him. He talks better than him. He's got cooler music than him. And I really like Solo's music. I mean, we was on our story today. So yeah, good luck to Solo if that's the route they take.
No way. They gotta do Jacob Roman. If they're gonna do a Jacob singles match at Mania, give him Roman. Let Roman wrestle in the fucking mid card and elevate someone for once. Like, come on.
And they could do Jacob versus Braun Breaker. They did have a stare down in 2024. I don't know if they want to pull the trigger on that yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, it's a Triple H stare down, so like it'll probably pay off like 2027, I'm guessing. Stay tuned.
But realistically, that's a match that I wouldn't blow my load on yet. I think those guys are going to be part of the future landscape of WWE for years to come. Clearly, there is fan interest in seeing that match happen. The one stare down that they had on TV, the crowd erupted. So let both of those guys continue to build up their resume. Let both of those guys build up their repertoire and their I hate using this word, but their aura.
Let them cook.
Let them cook. And then when the time is right and it's marinated and seasoned, let it happen.
Big meat and slapping meat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. BX in the comments. The big questions coming out of this match are, do Solo and the new bloodline fall in line with Roman? And how does Roman treat the OGs now that he's tribal chief again? These are great questions, Rev, but these are also questions that are giving me a headache because, quite frankly, I don't want to see them together anymore. If Roman wants to lead this new bloodline, fine, but I do not need to see the OGs with them. I do not need to see Jey Uso yeeting along with Solo Sikoa. I do not need Jimmy Uso trying to make Jacob Fatu laugh. I don't need Sami Zayn figuring out and deciphering Tama Tonga's yes. I don't need to see it.
First of all, no. Sami Zayn would realistically be the one to actually make Jacob Fatu laugh. He would get him to crack. That's Sami's specialty.
I mean, people have.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
People have gotten it in their heads that Jimmy Uso is actually really, really funny. I don't know how that narrative got started, but Jimmy Uso is apparently the funny one of the Samoans.
I guess when you're drunk all the time, it kind of comes with it. But like, you set him up for that, James.
I would say it's because he's the one that doesn't have any singles championships. He's got to be the funny one. I think that's the safer bet. We can edit that out later and post.
We don't have to edit it out. We could just zoom in on James's face. As soon as he reacts, that's how you.
I really wish this was real. I really wish you couldn't see me right now, but here we are. Oh, Chris Leclerc in the comments. What's up, Chris? Happy to have you here tonight, man. Bailey was highlighted tonight. Something was going on with her and Adam Pearce. Don't know what that was.
I mean, she's probably just going to be traded to Raw.
Yep.
BX saying, that's a good point. Do the OGs even want to continue to roll with Roman now that this new bloodline is seemingly done? All I care about, Nicholas Maniotis, you should be here. I don't know why you're not here. You hurt my heart. You hurt my heart. But anyway, I love you. The only interest I have in seeing the OGs running at all around with Roman or the new bloodline, I just need Jey Uso to pin Roman Reigns and we could wrap a bow on all of this.
Yeah, I would accept that as a bloodline story. It should be the finale, but they'll probably milk this for another 4 years somehow.
Sammy needs the one-on-one win too. Not as badly, but
I would prefer Sammy because I love Sammy, but it's not going to happen. It's only going to be Jey that gets it.
And quite frankly, even though I'm for it and I'd be fine if it happens, Sammy fulfilled his role in this story. The story was never about Sammy. It's about what Sammy did to the family, both positive and negative. Jey is the one whose story needs a win. Sammy
needs the world title victory.
Yeah, exactly. I love Jey Uso, and I know there are a large contingent of the audience who would love to see him as a world champion. If it never happens, I'm fine. But I need him to beat Roman. That's more important than any world title you could put on Jey Uso's waist. Sammy, though, needs a world or undisputed title of some sort.
Absolutely. I agree, but I still don't like hearing what you said because it just... I always want to point out that Sammy saved the bloodline.
Yes.
And although we give him credit, and it's still like out there that he gets credit for it, but like it's not brought up enough because the bloodline was in its cinema era where all anyone talks about is aura and cinema. But like the shit was stale as fuck until Sammy single-handedly made it great again. And then
on January 6th, really?
Bad choice of words.
Nope, not perfect choice. So you're the one wearing an American headband.
But I'm wearing a Macho Man shirt, not a Hulk Hogan shirt.
All right, well, you look like Bandit Keith, okay?
I'll take it. I'm going to hold you up with my finger gun.
In America. God, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. Everyone go watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge after this. But, yeah, point is, Sammy made it so good, and you're like, oh, his reward is that he got, like, I get what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. It just bothers me. I wish he was rewarded more for it. But he kind of was. He got to beat Gunther this year, so, like, you know, he got something, but, like, don't anyone ever forget, Sammy saved the Bloodline story.
We're all going to be watching Sami Zayn holding the unified, undisputed, and world championships. He's going to be the guy to do it in the main event of night 2 at WrestleMania. But we're going to be stewing in the back like, he didn't beat Roman, though. It should have been Roman.
No one's... I think we'll let it go then, but, you know, it's like, Sammy's weird because he's amazing because I still love him, even though he supposedly... brothered his way into Gable's WrestleMania spot this year. And, you know, I respect that he got himself some backstage power, allegedly, and used it, allegedly. But, like, you know, it just goes to show that no matter what he does, we'll still love him. So
you could be the biggest piece of shit in the world. We're still going to love you, Sami Zayn.
And by all accounts, he's the opposite of that.
Yeah. But
Hulk Hogan on this goddamn show, and Sami Zayn can't show his support. Terrible.
Sorry, I muted myself because I needed to find a clip, but that's great. I laughed very loud, very loud. Halloween costume next year, Bandit Keith with the finger guns.
Oh. God, I coughed so hard I gave myself.
You can't beat me because I'm an American. Oh,
That's a bridge. Okay.
I made a whole reel, or I made a whole clip once of Cody Rhodes over Bandit Keith dialogue, and I just never posted it because I didn't finish it. But
Oh,
like,
come on, you got to finish it and post it. That sounds amazing. Please.
we'll get
Somewhere-
there. It's evergreen because I'll always have that tattoo.
Yep. Somewhere Rev is stewing that he's thinking that the real Bandit Keith is somewhere in AEW learning from Chris Jericho.
That's my joke. You stole it.
I vividly remember you both making that joke, so I can't really credit one man over the other. But that said, any last comments on this tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, or like
Nope,
the
no.
storyline itself, we should move on?
We should move on.
All right. We are then given another promo, a mysterious promo that if anybody knows any better and can correct me, go for it. But we all know is for Penta El Cero. I
How
could have
do you know?
swore he was supposed to have a match. What?
You
What?
just said El Cero. You said it
Because we actually don't know what his name is going to be. He has so many different legal names that he can only use in certain companies that Penta El Cero is sort of just like the safest one that we can say. Or Penta
We'll just say
alone.
Penta. Yeah, Penta.
I don't believe you for a goddamn second, Rev. Just not a second.
I don't think that's
it's
Rev.
mine.
That's just
My
a
joke.
commenter.
It's my joke.
But anyway.
Look, we don't know that could be any Penta. Okay.
It could be.
It could be Phoenix in a Penta mask. I don't think anybody would be able to prove otherwise.
But you're right. He was supposed to have. He was definitely going to be Mysterio's tag partner against New Day. But like
that was
many
tonight,
things,
right?
yeah. But like
Yeah.
many things, that got pushed back because we had to have 25 minutes of self-fellatio to start the show. And where are you going to fit in a Mexican wrestler when a guy like Hulk Hogan's on the show? Where is there room? Okay, not in Hulk Hogan's America. Okay.
You are asking the real questions. You're bringing up and addressing the real topics. And Danny, this is why you're so essential to the pod. But
I
what's
know I
crazy
really
is
bring a sort of fuck everything up vibe to the pod that I personally like.
Go
Wait, can you
ahead,
bring
Matt.
that back up, producer boy? I wanted to read that.
I'm very afraid. I'm very afraid of what it's going to say.
I
All
got
right.
into an argument that WWE crowds would absolutely boo Trump, and this Hogan reaction is confirmation of that. LOL. A right-wing organization with an incredibly liberal fan base. It's so fascinating.
All right, look.
Not to get too political here, but that's just a comment we saw on X.
Yeah, let's address the fact that, yes, inherently, supposedly studies have shown that wrestling fans tend to be a little more liberal. That said, they were in fucking California. Bring that bit to the Bible Belt and see if Hogan's getting booed the same way. I don't know. I'd like to believe so, but I think we all know better.
I mean, there's a couple places. There are places he wouldn't get booed, but like besides Texas, none of those places are good wrestling crowds anyway. So like, who
I
cares
agree.
what they think?
Saudi
I agree.
Arabia, they wouldn't boo him.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
This tweet,
Listen,
taking Penta off the show for 3 MAGA men to appear is crazy. I hate you so much, Triple H.
That's more or less what I just said too.
Yeah, right.
I got our poll. Give me a sec to pull up our poll. I asked. We had a picture of Triple H today with his MAGA Power shirt, and I said, would he be on the show with the shirt? Would he be on the show without the shirt? Would he be not on the show, but still wearing the shirt? Or would he be in catering, not wearing the shirt, not on the show, but he wasn't wearing the shirt because he spilled soup on the shirt? And 75% people said he'll be on the show, but he'll have to change. 25% said he wasn't going to be on the show and he wasn't going to wear the shirt because of said soup spillage. But thanks for voting, guys.
I knew he wasn't going to wear the shirt because it's not something that he can sell the same way he can sell anything else. And he proved me right 1,000%. So thank you, Hulk Hogan, for being useful for something.
And it just even look, WWE is I'm not going to say they're the best company in the world or anything, but they're not dumb, and they just know it would have been a bad idea. Like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have allowed it regardless. Like, that's even if the people in charge there work for Trump or are friends with people that work for Trump, they're smart enough to be like, let's not stoke those fires because it doesn't
Exactly.
benefit us in any way. So
Exactly.
they're not taking a stand by making them change. They're being as neutral as possible by making them change. And whatever.
Are we going over this segment officially now, or that was just a sidetrack?
I think that was a sidetrack. I mean, we can go over it because technically it had no bearing on the rest of the show. Nothing happened that impacted the rest of the show. So up to you guys if you just want to cover Hogan now and be done with it.
I mean,
Let's do it.
I can say real quick that, just to summarize it, Hulk Hogan came out, got booed. He started talking, and he continuously got booed. He tried doing the old school wrestling thing of bringing up other legends' names to get a cheap pop. Still got booed, did not matter.
Yep.
And it was beautiful, and it was great, and it was something we could all enjoy because Hulk Hogan, we're all sick of this guy. Like, this isn't the 80s anymore. Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. It was a beautiful, beautiful segment that was not what they intended it to be, but once again, it was beautiful because of us. We did that. Sometimes we got to take the ball into our own hands, and this time the crowd did it and made it something enjoyable.
Oh my God. John Blattner. Haven't seen you in forever, dude. Welcome back.
The Black
Great
Man.
stuff. I appreciate the fact that Terry Bollea is such a piece of shit that he was able to turn the Babe Ruth of wrestling, the Michael Jordan of wrestling, into such a reviled act that the man can't show his face without getting booed.
He's wrestling.
That is
Hitler.
like, he's what?
He's wrestling Hitler.
I mean,
I mean, like
wrestling,
he's not physically wrestling Hitler, like he's the
I understand.
wrestling
He's the equivalent.
embodiment of Hitler.
Which is crazy because back in the day, he would have wrestled against the Hitler character. That's some shit they would have done. But now he would be tagging alongside him instead of wrestling against him. It's crazy. Crazy how real life is different from what we see on TV.
And people would be arguing whether or not they were really the bad guys or not. This tweet, thank you WWE Universe for booing Hulk Hogan out of the building. Y'all made my night. For a lot of people, this was unironically the highlight of their night. I think it was for Danny.
I think it was. I think it genuinely was. Maybe
I think the only thing, I was gonna say, I think that's the only possible substitution for you. But yowie wowie, that is the world we live in, and it's very unfortunate. It is. I don't find joy in booing the Hulk Hogan entity. I find a lot of joy in booing Terry Bollea, but I don't find joy in booing the Hulk Hogan entity. Like, for the casuals out there who don't know, this was 2024 was definitely an eye-opening year for a lot of people with Hulk Hogan. But this tweet, so Hulk Hogan was showing up at Trump rallies left and right. Then they wheel him out in front of a blue state. Like, I don't want to get political, but what else did they expect to happen? That was cringe. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
The only way it could have gotten better.
Jesus Christ, yeah, he's not wrong. Nick Maniotis, not wrong with that comment.
The only way it would have gotten better is if because he was there. He wasn't there to put anybody over. He was there to put over his American beer. The only way it could have been better is if they had given free beers to everybody in the front row and they had tossed the cups of beer at him. I mean, this was just awful. The only thing I can think of is that maybe the people at Netflix were just like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan, that's a guy. He's in the news. He's a name. Yeah, we want him." And they're like, yeah, maybe not. They're like, nope, we want him. We got The Rock. We got all these other guys. We want Hulk Hogan. And that's why WWE put him on the entrance and not going into the ring, which was, that was a very smart move on them because then he probably would have gotten stuff thrown at him in the ring. Not really, but I would have, hoped so. Not like anything that would hurt him, but like definitely trash.
Yeah, throw trash on him, that's fine. But like, see, I'll say that I don't even want to put that on Netflix. I'm putting that on WWE because one, he's a sponsor, so like,
Yeah.
This was even worse. It's bad enough that he's not a good person, but it's worse that this was a capitalistic appearance, not even a wrestling one. This was because he's a sponsor that he was there, and it's just it's so hollow in all of the ways that it possibly can be. And then, and this isn't even like WWE keeps trying to bring him back, and he's been soundly rejected since what, like 2017. Like, stop trying.
Yep.
Like, it's and Nick brought up Taker. Taker still has so much goodwill. Like, it's gonna take a lot longer for him to lose that will with the audience, and he'll probably will at the rate he's going. But like, he'll probably lose it in a couple years. But like, for now, he still has it because although he supports a certain guy who a lot of people might think is a terrible person and is a terrible person, but he hasn't done anything. Whereas Hogan is like on tape saying egregious stuff, whereas Taker, like, he's adjacent to it. He's not there yet. He'll get there. He's on the path.
Give it time. They all do.
Yeah, get a few more podcast episodes. He's gonna get there, but like, he still has that goodwill. Whereas Hogan clearly doesn't, and no matter how many times they keep trying, it's not working. Like, just give up. Like, not saying to pretend he didn't exist, but just stop bringing him back.
Yeah.
So, like, bro, NWO is still great. I don't but like, he's not.
The nail on the head on this coffin was that we had a few speeches tonight, like a few appearances that were like, I'm just here to talk about myself or promote the show. I'm not here to put anybody over. I'm not here to wrestle. And he was the last of those people on the list. And I think the crowd was getting sick of it. Like, they wanted, like,
I think he could have been first and they would have booed him.
I'm just saying that wasn't going to help him either. You know what I mean? Like, that's the nail in the coffin.
I think that this crowd was very much a Hollywood crowd. This was a Super Bowl type of crowd where if this was truly the biggest gate that they've ever had, that means these tickets were expensive. And all night, throughout the night, they were highlighting how many celebrities, how many former stars were there. And I think this was a crowd that was just sort of happy to see the names and the faces come out. Like, they had everybody from Topanga to Stephen Amell to Fluffy, who that guy just keeps taking TV time. They had so many of these.
A former wrestler. Why'd you mention him with those other celebrities?
He's all like, I love Stephen Amell, but he's also a scab. So,
ooh,
I didn't know wrestlers could be scabs. That's crazy.
Actors can be.
He's an actor.
He's Canadian.
If you
didn't watch the CW or Blue Mountain State,
I did watch CW. Smallville's the greatest DC property ever made. What are you talking about,
Danny? Every once in a while, like, you supercharge me. I feel like I'm Mario, or no, let's be more topical. I feel like I'm Luigi, and I just ate a mushroom. So thank you for that comment.
I want to talk about those celebrities real quick. I know we'll get back on track, but like, they just kept they were like, not the celebrities, but the camera and the little name plaques. They went from like bad to worse. They were just like all over the place. They couldn't find Wale. Then they showed LA Knight and didn't say him. Then they found Wale. Took forever to put his name tag up. Then they went back to LA Knight. They ignored Will Friedle, who was next to Topanga. I mean, they were on the show together, and Will Friedle is the voice of Batman.
Yeah, but Will Friedle is not a bigger name than Danielle Fishel. And Danielle Fishel is a noted wrestling fan. Like, she goes to wrestling events. She was going to PWG a few years ago. So, no, it made sense.
And so was the girl from Paramore, but she wasn't here tonight. All I'm just saying is they were there. They were literally there together.
She has a name.
I know, right? The girl from Paramore.
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, Will
It does
Friedle,
matter.
they were they're on from the same show. They're both famous for being on Boy Meets World.
And you know what? You're right. But then WWE showed why it doesn't matter if you have two people next to each other, because nobody gave a shit about Seth Green, and that place erupted for Macaulay Culkin.
That's not the same. Those are two different levels of famous. That's not the
They
same.
are the same height. They are the same height, and they've been doing this for the same amount of time. Point proven.
And they're both famous for the same thing, which is that one wrestling isn't wrestling video. Like,
So, but again, it kept getting worse. They messed up X-Pac, and then this is important. I don't think they put emphasis on the Intercontinental Championship match. They're like, Damage Control is here. And like, then they're like, Lyra Valkyrie is here. They didn't even have a nameplate for her. They just went to the match graphic. And then the final list of WWE superstars that showed up, they just gave up on the name bracket altogether. And I was like, guys, I think someone was drunk and went home. It was bad.
I say this without a hint of irony or a hint of sarcasm. The number one name that I was the most happy to see in the crowd was Nikki Bella. I know how much she cares about WWE. I know how much she cares about women's wrestling. And I know that she and her sister have been on the outs with WWE for a long time. So I was really happy to see her there tonight. Little surprise, Brie.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you're not wrong, James. Like when I saw them last year, they talked very vigorously about that in the Q&A. I was told not to air any of the footage, and we respect the wishes of the people that were who allowed me and my friend to be there. But yeah, they were very adamant about women's wrestling and like just giving back and that kind of thing. But what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, so just really happy that happened. Really happy that existed. And I know under the Triple H era, we're never going to see like the Royal Rumble moments that Vince loved, which was you would bring out the legends for certain spots, or you'd have these old timers come back out the same way. So seeing it tonight was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it, at least. I don't think it was a detraction from the show in any way. I don't think it distracted from the show in any way. Queens of Wrestling. I'm going to tell you this. Put Nikki Bella in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All for it. Nikki Bella, I think, is an underrated wrestler. That is a hill I am willing to die on. I think people judge her wrestling a little too harshly. She got a lot better. But just to finish up, Hulk Hogan sucks.
Okay, I'll let it go.
Yeah, we got to keep moving.
James loves women, and James loves women's wrestling.
I think it's just because she dated your favorite wrestler, the one.
No. I legitimately liked her run with the Divas title. I think she put in a lot of work to become a better wrestler. I think it's hilarious that Brie, who started as the better wrestler, became atrocious, and Nikki got better. But the reality is, by the time she got better, we were done with Nikki, and we were transitioning out of the Divas era into like the women's wrestling era, like the women's evolution, the women's revolution. But she is an integral name in getting women's wrestlers opportunities. She and her sister.
And she still got the longest title reign, and she didn't even defend it. It was always tag matches. But what are you going to do?
And sometimes you do that to get rid of AJ Lee.
Yeah, I mean, she has the long, like, for that shitty title, yeah, but like, you know, like Bailey's title reign was longer in 2020, but like look, I like Nikki Bella to a degree. I think some of what you said is true, and I see it. Like, she definitely improved. I'm not going to pretend she didn't, but like, I think she improved to like a C plus, which is fine.
Yeah,
like it's like she improved to like a C plus in a time where women's wrestling was getting really good. So even though she improved, it still was passing her by, and that's fine. That's not like she was a product of her time, and like, you can feel however you want about the Total Divas stuff, and like, I hated it at times, or almost all the time, but it's good exposure, and it got people into wrestling that would never have been into it otherwise. So that's
it made
important.
Natalia a household name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But you know, like, then there's stuff about like I didn't like how they came back just to do that show. That felt like scummy
Yeah.
to me, and I feel like they kicked certain people off. Not like they kicked them off personally, but them
They took
being
someone's spot.
back. Yeah. So it's like I didn't like that whole ordeal because it felt like you left. Like you don't get to come back now that there's this cool thing about to happen. And by cool thing I mean thing that's happening.
Opportunity.
Yeah. So like to me, like I never loved that, but like with everything that she's gone through very recently, I'm very happy for her in that regard. I'm glad she's seemingly doing better and okay and there and happy to be there. So like that is good. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give her like the position as flag bearer of pushing for other opportunities for women, but like all the women were rallied together then to get more opportunities. That's a very they had good camaraderie at that time where it was needed to push things forward. So like like she'll go down as an A+ star in a lot of people's eyes when she's realistically like a really solid C+, who will always she dated above her weight class or whatever. She fought above her weight class, in that regard. And no, I mean that as a compliment. Like she swam with the sharks and she came out. Like, and she'll always go down as a legend because of that. I'm just never gonna be like she was great, like in my opinion. But like she did great things. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'm
no, I
never
get
gonna
it.
be like I want to watch a Nikki Bella match. Like that's never gonna happen, and that's okay. I still think like if I just saw her the last year. I'm like, oh, this will be fun. Like this will be a cool opportunity, and good for her. That I don't want to add on too much. I think we should just move on.
Yeah, just sorry. I love tangents, but she seems like a person I'd smoke a blunt with. She'd be cool in that regard. But like I'll say this, James, to end it with a compliment. She is so much better than Natalia.
What? What did I do?
I didn't do it. I don't know.
She was very nice. I mean, like I was backstage with her and Brie, and I was wearing the stupid Becky Lynch outfit, and they got a kick out of it, or at least they pretended to get a kick out of it. They weren't like, "Ew, go away." So, well, what's next? We did this sidestep with Hogan. We just went through the match with.
Let's finish up Penta. Realistically, weird that they did this the way they did this. I don't know why they did this the way they did this. That tag team match with Ray, I don't even think is happening because now he's just wrestling most likely Chad Gable next week.
Okay, so like, can I? Sorry, let me go on one more tangent.
We're on topic, so go for it.
It's good and bad because he's still gonna be involved with the Ray stuff because Chad's still involved with it. Like it's gonna connect, but now he's just gonna have his open match against Chad. I do not want Chad to be in the Dolph Ziggler gatekeeper role for NXT call-ups / new signees to fight with. I want Chad to win shit, and I'm complaining about a match that's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
the big thing. It's gonna be a great match, and
like,
it's a weird
don't
monkey's
want
paw
Chad.
type thing.
I don't want Chad to be that guy to always have to do that. Give Chad something. Like I'm glad he got a nice new contract, but like actually give him some substance. Otherwise, I'm like, no one would. You can go back to our Raw reviews from when he fought Gunther and see how passionate I was about him being the guy to dethrone him. And we didn't get that, and I'm upset about it. But like I said, Sammy's too likable to be mad at him for it. So I'm just gonna be mad at Triple H. Like, give Chad something of substance.
The problem is, and I just went to the WWE roster, and I'm looking specifically at the Raw men's roster. There aren't a lot of names that you could have Penta debut with and have him look great. You want him to have a good match while also going against the heel because apparently they're debuting him as a face. Because that was clear. If he was teaming with Ray, he was debuting as a face. If he's going against New Day or Gable, he's going to debut as a face. So logic then means he's going against the heel. So it's got to be a mid-card heel who isn't attached to something bigger. And there really aren't a lot of names that you could do that with right now. And it sucks because all right, New Day, sure. Gable, sure. You can't do it with Karrion Kross because that's going to lead to a whole thing.
Miz.
Therefore, you can't do it with Miz for twofold. It's not. I mean, one, it would be a good showcase for Penta because Miz is a good enough seller that it'll make Penta look good. But at the same time, who hasn't beaten Miz? So it's not a huge thing. And two, Miz is
Who hasn't
attached.
beaten Gable?
I mean, it's a much smaller pool. You just know that if you're going against Gable, you're going to win, but less names have done it. And that's just because of time. I think a good name that you could have done this with is Pete Dunne. I think you could have done this with Pete Dunne. I think you could have. See, it's very tempting to say literally almost any name from Judgment Day. But again, you go against one of them, you get sucked into all of them. So it becomes a lot harder. And I think there's too much money. Personally, I think a Dominic Mysterio Penta feud will be gold. So I want to save that a little bit.
Or you could have just started with it to start good. Okay, so I would say a little bit Kaiser. You could do Kaiser.
You can't because that takes you to Gunther. And because Kaiser was like on the tip of my tongue. But you can't because it takes you to Gunther. And that's way too early for Penta.
Not necessarily, because Sheamus isn't going back to Gunther, and they're feuding, which they shouldn't still be feuding, by the way. I want that to end, even though the matches are great.
Isn't he out hurt? Sheamus?
They're fighting next week.
Are they?
Yeah.
My bad.
But also, we're in a transfer window, so Carmelo Hayes is the perfect guy to eat that pin, because that's Carmelo Hayes' role. I don't know what people are thinking.
No, I agree.
But Carmelo Hayes is the mid-card guy that's going to lose to upper mid-card guys in main event.
And that's where he should be, by the way. I
Absolutely.
love Melo.
Absolutely.
I want it on the record. I am a gigantic Carmelo Hayes fan. I think this kid has a huge ceiling. But he is so young, and he is a mid-card heel. He could eat 50 pins over the next year, and he will still be fine.
I agree, except for the ceiling part. I think his ceiling has really been exposed on the main roster. I think in NXT you couldn't see his ceiling, but since he came up, I see his ceiling. But I agree in general. Like, of course, who knows what the future holds, and maybe something changes between now and then, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, there's a chance. But like he's that guy that just, I mean, they literally just did it for the Strowman return. You just do that, but as a Penta debut, and it would be totally fine. I don't know. Like, it's going to be great. So, like, I'm complaining about something, a match that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to reel in and say, yeah, it's a shame Gable's going to lose. I'm with you with what you said about Gable early in 2024. I was saying it over the summer. I wanted him to win Money in the Bank. I thought it was the best option. But here we are. He's got no title, and he's going to lose next week. And your cat's still here. Hi.
Well, it turns out
tomorrow.
The Money in the Bank winner was perfect, and I'll defend that against anybody. They could not have done it better. The Money in the Bank was perfect this year.
Drew could be champion.
Literally, he was champion at WrestleMania. It was a perfect title reign. What is wrong with you guys?
Let's get back on track.
I'm allowed to be a fan of people and want the people I like to win things and maintain winning things. But all right,
perfect.
Let's move on to the next segment, the next big segment, the one that I am dressed up for, the John Cena in-ring promo. John Cena, who the tour has started, the farewell tour has started tonight in Los Angeles. John Cena, who is entering his retirement year. John Cena, who defined a generation for the better. John Cena, who is the hero to millions and to several hundred Make-A-Wish children as well. Guys, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I'm going on a rant. You got to go. You go. I literally, I've been waiting for this. I bought the whole thing. I'm not even, I got the armbands here too, but I didn't wear them.
You got to buy the new shirt. He's got a new blue shirt.
I know. I bought this literally at MSG, and I'm like, of course, there's already a new one. John Cena coming out, entrance, getting a huge reaction from the LA crowd. He gets on the mic and says, everybody talks about it, but you can't understand it until you're in the middle of it. He says LA shows up and notes that this is the first time Raw has actually been broadcast simultaneously throughout the world. We get thank you, Cena chants, and he acknowledges them before continuing. He talks about he says he's learned that we're a very smart crowd and the audience is even larger. And now the electricity is felt all around the world. He thanks Netflix for allowing the world to finally see the experience of Monday Night Raw. He talks about this being his last time in this ring in full jorts and talks about his history, talking about UPW, talking about working at Venice Gold's Gym, coming up as the prototype, winning his first title here, and for one last time in the city where dreams are made, he humbly stands before us to say thank you. He says it's about making moments, and there's lots of noise in here and lots of noise outside. Experts guessing who he's going to fight at WrestleMania and who will be his last match in December. He mentions names like Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Logan Paul, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, and when will he win his 17th World Championship? He says he's got to be honest. He doesn't see that title happening, and it's okay. He says it's okay because of the streak. And the streak he's talking about isn't Gunther's Intercontinental title reign. He's not talking about Undertaker's undefeated streak. He's talking about the 2,446 days since he's won a match. He says he's at peace with it, though, and that's why he's doing this. He says his time is up and their time is now. Don't get him wrong, though. We're here to have some fun. It's going to be a great year. But as far as that 17th World Championship goes, it's never going to happen. But hold on. He did forget that this is WWE and never say never. So he talks about opportunities he might have. Maybe winning the Money in the Bank. Maybe Elimination Chamber. Or he says, hell, the Royal Rumble. He does some math in the air and he says maybe he can win the Royal Rumble. He says it's a long shot and you can't win the lottery if you don't play, and you should be in the Royal Rumble. It's his last one, and the best way to say thank you is to win it and make history at WrestleMania. It sounds impossible, but if you know anything about him, nothing is impossible, and the only time we say never around here is when we say never give up. He's not just going to the Royal Rumble, he's going to win the Royal Rumble, and John Cena leaves the crowd buzzing. I'm going to go to Matt on this one. Matt, just because I know Danny's going to have a lot to say. Matt, what did you think of this? Are you excited for the farewell tour to start? Who are you? What did you think of all of this?
I thought it was a good speech, probably best speech of the night. I enjoyed it. It was very kind of hitchy and John Cena-y and kind of cheesy, but that's his shtick and it works. And it's good to see it one last time. And I like the never and then never give up line that he did. Again, I would have just had him have some heel come out, interrupt him, do the classic thing, have them spar, and either he gets roped into his first match of 2025 on the first episode of Netflix. Who wouldn't want to see that? Or he just they do a little tussle and he hits the attitude adjustment on him, and you get a little segment. It's and you give that to somebody. Hey, you're working with John Cena tonight on the first episode of Raw on the Netflix era. This is big. And they just didn't do it. And it's come on.
I agree with you. This would have been a good Carmelo Hayes spot. I don't know if Danny would agree, but just throw him in to take the pin, get the loss, and everything. Just to note, those, because Rev brought it up in the comments, 2,446 days of James being in mental anguish. Yes, but that is 2,446 days since John's last singles win. John has had some tag team wins.
Becky Lynch, Kevin Owens.
Yep, he teamed with Becky Lynch. He teamed with Kevin Owens. He teamed with Miz and R-Truth the night after Mania. So John has had some tag wins, just no big singles wins. Anything else? What we'll get into, I guess, the Rumble and Mania of it all. But what did you think of this promo? You liked it, or you think it could have been better and more?
Me or I like. Yeah, no, I liked it. Again, I just wanted the heel interruption with either a match or a beatdown.
Gotcha.
We didn't have a lot of action tonight, and this was speech number 3. We needed something.
I hear you. Danny, I know you're muted right now, so I don't know if you're ready, but what did you think of this segment and John's promo?
We can't see him or hear him.
I thought it sucked.
There you go.
He said,
okay.
I thought it and went back to being muted. So.
Yep, man of few words, powerful words. I stand by what I said earlier in the night. John Cena should lose the Royal Rumble. John Cena should lose at the Elimination Chamber, and John Cena should lose at WrestleMania, and then John Cena should Gunther or Cody. I'm fine with him losing against either. You know what? If he does want to win the Rumble, if he does want to win the Elimination Chamber and get his way into Mania, but then loses at Mania, that's fine by me. I could accept that. But he should lose to Cody. He should lose to Gunther. I'm not a proponent of him being squashed by Gunther, but I am fine with Gunther beating him. I want 17 to happen in a locale that I could actually watch it happen. And I could actually attend. So SummerSlam would be fantastic.
Okay, so like no, I do want to squash. I want him to be chopped 14 times by Gunther and then lose.
A Brock match, okay.
Look, it was one of the best matches of his career. I think that's the emotional high you want to hit. But
I'm going to strongly disagree, but that's fair.
I'm gonna say I actually didn't mind this. I thought it was okay. I agree with Matt that I wish someone came out and he could just beat them up real quick and hit a move. Because I agree, there's so many talking segments that led to nothing and were hollow and meaningless. So like, if any of those talking segments had one of the legends hit a move, it would have sat better with me and I think a lot of people. Like, where it's like, cool, like I get it, like WWE's in a very like the wrestling doesn't matter thing. But even in segments usually end in a brawl or a move being hit. And it's like, it used to be a thing we complained about where like, oh, the legends come back and then they beat up someone on the card and then like they're burying them. And like, now I'm at a point where like, I'll take that at this point. Like, instead of just hollow, meaningless words. I'm like, it was nice to see Cena. I like to make fun of James a lot, rightfully so. But hey, I liked Cena too in 2006 and 7, so like I can't like when he was feuding with Edge pretty much, and then like no time after that. But or I guess in the DX Triple Threat, I was rooting for Cena in that match because I didn't want DX held in the title. But like that, like I am gonna appreciate this Cena run in my own way, and the key word though is appreciate. But like, I would have just liked anything, someone interrupting him, even if it's not going to be the first person he feuds with. If like Drew came out and was like, "I'll see you down the road," or like, our paths are going to cross, and this is what's going to happen, and anything of substance. The show was missing substance. It was all fluff, but nothing to like really like sink your teeth into, and that was my biggest gripe. Like, it was a spectacle, but it was hollow. It's like going on some of the rides at like Disney World or shit where it's like it's visually beautiful, but like the ride itself is nothing. Like you're not doing anything. Like just I want both. I want the spectacle, but I still want the action or the thrill. Like like is that so wrong?
You need the wrestling, and that's what tonight didn't have. Like even something stupid, goofy like the 24/7 championship where you see people running in the back towards other people. It's like, okay, something's going on here. It's like Looney Tunes. Like something is happening, not just people talking and patting themselves on the back and also being like, look who's here. Like they could have even had Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria like go nose to nose. Like I know they're both good guys, so you're not going to have one of them just like sucker punch the other, but like they could have like done something. Like they could have like stood up and like both looked at each other from like across a few people. We're like, yeah, well, I'll see you next week. And yeah, well, I slept with your wife. Her wife's in a coma. Like something like that. Just come on. Throw a pie.
Well, the jerk store certainly did not run out of you, Matt.
because I got the reference. I was going off your reference.
No, I got you.
Crickets on my end. Considering the fact that Cena acknowledged how long he's gone since a singles win, do you want it to be a big moment when, like, do you want Cena to fight for that win and it takes a little while to get that first singles win, or do you want to get the first win out and done with?
Depends on who the opponent is. That's all it is for me. Like, tonight could have been an easy win for me. Like, it didn't matter who it was. It doesn't matter a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Had that interruption come out, if he had a match tonight, definitely have it be his win.
Yeah. Danny, what about you? Do you think he should build to that win and maybe lose a couple first, or do you think they should get the first win out of the way right out the gate?
I think he should. I think Cena should win 94% of his matches. Like, I don't want him to go on a losing streak and then get a win. I want him to get some wins, get to the title, lose to knock him back down, and then have him rebuild a bit. There are only like 3 or 4 people I genuinely want him to lose to: Gunther, Cody, Braun. And if they do a Punk match, I want Punk to win. But like,
no, fuck that guy. I'm sorry.
Like,
you had me on the first three.
You can say fuck Punk in a lot of situations, and I'm gonna agree. But like, I want him to beat Cena. Of all people, like anyone else, Cena wins. I will shit on Cena until the cows come home or until James cries. But I do not want to waste Cena losses on 90% of this roster. And like
Solo Sikoa,
oh my god, that was the biggest waste. No, Austin Theory was the biggest waste. Solo was the second biggest waste.
Karrion Kross.
He lost to Karrion Kross?
No, he hasn't, but it'll happen.
But like, my bigger gripe is why the fuck are we even teasing the idea of a Miz Cena match? I want to die. Like,
yeah. Oh no,
I can't. Like, out of all people, I'd rather watch him wrestle Orton again, and those matches always sucked.
They had like one decent match.
The Hell in a Cell match.
I was gonna say the I Quit match, but
I don't like.
The Hell in a Cell was better.
I'm not big on I Quit matches, honestly, but it's kind of not a fun format. Yeah, I am super selective. I want it to be impactful people that beat him. You have a Cody beat him because Cody is a better Cena than Cena ever was. Like, no, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean it in an endearing way to Cody, not a spiteful way to Cena.
Yeah, he was so good at it. He got kicked out of AEW for it.
Because the AEW crowd doesn't want all the people that hate Cena left and went to AEW, you know? So,
there is a part of me that would love to see how an AEW crowd would react to Cena. But that's a conversation for a different pod.
Yeah, and we'll have it, but
we will.
You know,
we will.
I want Gunther because I want him to murder legends. I think that's fun. I want Braun because Braun's, on the cusp of.
He's the future.
Yeah. Other than that, I can't.
There's one other name. I would want Trick to do it too. I would want Trick to beat Cena.
Oh yeah, I guess so. But that's the match I don't see happening. So I didn't even consider that. I'd be down with like a Trick, Williams, Obafemi, absolutely.
Jesus.
But
Obafemi.
Cena should be beating guys like Andrade, like Mello, like LA Knight, like me. Like if you do McIntyre should beat Cena. And like Kevin Owens if you do it, but
Kevin would be great for symmetry.
He only has so many matches, so I'm being realistic. I don't think all of those people are gonna fight him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently Cena said that he has 36 dates. This was number 1, so 35 to go.
And I don't think he's gonna wrestle before the Rumble. So
yeah, I don't think so either. But I also don't know if he's gonna show up before the Rumble. Wait, what did you say, Matt?
That annoys me. That's such a waste.
Yeah. Well,
it's a month.
We shall see. Moving on, unless anybody has any last moments or any last words on Cena.
Dear God, no.
Okay. We had a brief Logan Paul hype video showcasing that he is not only not retired, he is in fact a member of the Raw roster now. Man, that sucks. Moving on, we then go to our Women's World Championship match as Liv Morgan defended against Rhea Ripley. This was definitely a highlight of the night for many people, myself included. I think that we don't got to get into everything, but basically at the end, there is a chair slid into the ring. Dominic is distracting the referee. Liv hits an oblivion onto the chair, but Rhea is able to kick out. Liv hits 3 amigos, hits a frog splash, only gets the 2. She looks for oblivion again, but Rhea tosses her off the ropes, hits a riptide, and gets her with a second riptide, and then gets the 1, 2, 3. And finally, Rhea Ripley has defeated Liv Morgan and has become our new WWE Women's World Champion. After the match, Dominic Mysterio slides into the ring, goes for a hug, and Rhea just goal kicks him right in the nuts. As she's going up and is celebrating on the stage, we hear the familiar gong. An Undertaker comes out on his motorcycle as the American Badass, drives up and down the ramp, finally acknowledges Rhea and fist bumps her. They share a moment, both fists go up, a high five, and then he drives off. I sent it to Matt on that one. I'm going to send it to Skibbo here. What did you think of the match? What did you think of the post-match? And are you just happy that we can move on?
Oh my god, yeah. The post-match was dumb as fuck, but I don't want to dwell on that. The match itself was okay. It's better than their Bad Blood match by far. But I think the SummerSlam match was better. So like this was decent, like I'm just glad Rhea's champion again and we can move on from this. Like I've said it for weeks now. I don't dislike Liv, but this title reign needed to end a long time ago. And now that it's ended, I think that's better for Liv because she can always hang her hat on this. She can always, like, this is her, like how Miz never shuts the fuck up about main event in WrestleMania. This is like what she can never shut the fuck up about from here on out. And that's good. Everyone needs that annoying banter to have. So she's set. And now Rhea can just go back to being on top because, look, maybe her title reign could have used more defenses, but the issue there is that no one was on her level. And she is on another level of superstardom. Like, to me, like, it's like Roman, Cody, her. Like, those are the top 3 dogs in the company. And, like, no one comes close to them. Like I said, no woman gets reactions like that. She's the only one who matches, like, 2018 Becky in terms of getting crowd reactions. So, like, she is on another level. And now, like, Liv will be a good person to float in and out of contendership for other people besides Rhea. Like, please move Liv over to SmackDown. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, no,
Like,
absolutely.
but, like, she'll be good in that role. And she'll probably win the title one more time because she seems like someone who's going to be around for a long time still. So, like, she'll have another reign. And, like, this elevated her, even though her fans will never see it that way because she has the worst active fandom in the company right now. But like all in all, win-win. You needed a big moment on the show, like in ring wise, and a title change into your biggest female star is the way to go. And I'm upset that there was no returns after this match, and instead we got the fucking Undertaker. But in a vacuum, this is good. Move on, set Rhea up for a big WrestleMania program, and Liv will be on the back burner for a little bit and then come back around in the summer. She'll still have a spot on Mania, but like, all in all, this was overall an immense positive, even though the feud went on too long.
No, I would agree with you. But we are on the other side of it, thankfully, and the right woman won, and the right woman got to have her big moment. Matt, what did you think of everything?
Yeah, the match was fine. Glad it's over. The oblivion onto the chair was like quick, and like it was just really like, you know, it was the whole ref spot, and it's like, all right, here we go, and just like boom, like out of nowhere with it was a nice sequence, and I was like, top notch, gals, like good job. Like I was thoroughly impressed. I actually liked their Bad Blood match better, minus the ending. I thought the Bad Blood match was really, really good, except for the wonky, bad booked finish and also badly executed. They even said in the commentary, like, oh, Liv Morgan's beaten her twice. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. She lost the Bad Blood match. She wasn't supposed to, but she lost it. Like, she's only beaten Rhea once. So this was the third in the series. Rhea's up 2-1, and we're probably not going to get a rematch anytime soon, and for good reason, and hopefully not.
I think they're retconning in a victory over Rhea that she had when the Judgment Day first formed. She like beat her via roll up. So they're probably just like, we could still say twice and it's fine because history is technically on our side. Even though that's not what they mean, they are technically getting away with it.
Yeah, and they can always rewrite history. They've done it before. They'll do it again. It's not the end of the world. It's annoying, but it is what it is. The only note I have that was funny was during the Three Amigos. Michael Cole said, what did he say? He said, Liv Morgan is not paying homage to Eddie Guerrero, and I thought Michael Cole, I thought he was going to say Liv Morgan is not Mexican, and I'm like, no, of course, Michael Cole, like, but you're right, cultural appropriation, Liv Morgan, not cool. So that's really, and then the Undertaker thing was just kind of weird at the end. It's just like I feel like if anything, Rhea would be like, bro, this is my moment. Like, can't you wait your turn? Can't you wait till after the commercial break? You know, it would have been kind of cool if she sat on the back of the motorcycle, like not hugging him or anything, but like maybe even reverse, like, you know, like she's just like this as he's driving away. I don't know. It was just kind of odd. It was not a huge issue. There was a lot of issues tonight. I wouldn't put that one on one of the, you know, things if I was like, you know, making a complaint list, that would be at the bottom.
Yeah, it was incredibly dumb, but it was harmless.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Yeah. And in theory, it's designed to be a big, like a rub for Rhea. In theory, it's designed to be, look at this acknowledgement from The Undertaker, of all people.
So I made the comparison twice to her being on like 2018, 2019 Becky's level. Hello, James, in the comments. But, you know, and this is another one of that because, you know, back then, Becky was the one interacting with the legends on the roster like Stone Cold and Cena. It's like this is just like solidifies that Rhea has reached that threshold where she's not breaking gender barriers, but they're like, yeah, you're that big a deal that we're going to put you with their male legends. Like, we're not just going to limit you to the women's legends and like box you in. We're going to put you in with you know, our names that we always bring out for it's a nice gesture. It's just it's Taker, which is it's a mixed bag in big 2025, you know.
Yeah. One quick note, Papa G, you are in our intro, the first intro tonight that we're doing, our new intro for the show. Check it out. Not now.
Happy to have you here, big guy. But moving on, just my quick note on the match. I think it had the appropriate amount of time. I'm glad Rhea won. I think hitting the double riptide was big because it, in a way, protects Liv and also just shows how much Rhea wanted to put her down. I think her kicking Dominic in the groin was great, and interested to see that dynamic moving forward between Dominic and Liv moving past this. So time will tell. Moving on, we go backstage. I have this listed as a Chad Gable segment, but it started with Adam Pearce, the Raw GM, talking with Bailey. We don't really hear what that's about. And as he's about to be interviewed, before he could get a word out, Chad Gable rolls up with American Made. He talks himself up, and as saying that he had single-handedly destroyed both Otis and the Alpha Academy. He pledges in 2025 to win a singles title, and he dispels any rumors that he has trouble with luchadors. So he wants Adam Pearce to get the best luchador he can for him to face next week. Pearce asks if he's sure. He says he's never been more sure of anything in his life, and Adam excuses himself to go make a phone call. That ties back into what we were saying before. It will absolutely be Penta, and Penta will decimate him, which is a shame if you're a Chad Gable fan. We then go to our next big match of the night, a match that you could argue maybe shouldn't have happened tonight, but here we are.
I didn't even watch it. I was making a meme, so
there you go. We did have some more celebrity show-ups. Vanessa Hudgens showed up wearing a Hot Girls Love Professional Wrestling shirt, and I need that for myself. We had Michelle McCool and Damage Control show up. And then as Jey Uso is making his entrance, we had the most awkward celebrity sighting of the night as Travis Scott, the WWE Hardcore Champion, and the performer of Raw's new theme, is standing in the crowd smoking something. Not sure what. We just don't know. Like I thought it was a vape initially, but others are saying it was a joint.
It looked like he was holding a vape and a blunt. Like
he for sure was holding a blunt. And yeah, maybe it was a vape too. But look, let's just to get it out there, don't vape, kids. Like, come on, weed's fine. Don't vape. Like, come on.
Yep.
Be cool.
Don't have a lit blunt in like around children. Like, just don't do that. Like,
no, that's fine. They gotta learn sometime.
Anyway, Jey Uso is making his normal entrance. No different song. No Travis Scott song. Just making his entrance. Travis comes down with him. Does not yeet. Does not do anything. Is just sort of there. Looks incredibly confused. I would be confused too. The fact that I wasn't arrested, considering what happened at his concert. But I digress. Jay obviously getting a monstrous pop from the crowd. And then we undergo, I mean, everybody was hyped, even Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, who hopped on that table, showing that he was just waiting for that old man to leave this company so he could actually have a personality. As the match starts.
Before you get into the match, just
go for it.
Just on the Travis Scott thing, like I said, I don't mind, like, in all seriousness, I don't mind him smoking a blunt on TV. You probably shouldn't do it in the crowd. Like, don't get me wrong, you go to a concert, you're gonna smoke a blunt in that crowd. That's just how society works. You know, we're people of culture. But like, you know, like I like that part I get. But like, it's cool that we're at a point where he can do that on TV. You know, like that's pretty cool. But that's not what I wanted to mention. What I really wanted to mention is, why did they bring him out here? Like, why not wait until they do an NXT version of Stadium Stampede?
I got nothing for you.
Even do that. Again, I was worried.
That is a fantastic joke, and I'm so upset that you guys sold it, but that's fine.
No, because I don't want to joke about it.
You already did. You said, why isn't he arrested?
That's not a joke. Fuck that guy.
Oh, I get it now. Yeah, I didn't hear about his concert, but I can put two and two together. I have to actually sign off, so I'm gonna say something real quick. Sorry guys, first off.
No, you're good.
I just think you shouldn't have a lit blunt like in a very crowded space, especially when there's kids. Like, you might burn somebody on your way down, because it did disappear at one point, but he did have it lit walking down with Jay. And I'm like, this is just a bad idea. Like, come on, just you know, if he came out and he just like took a huge rip and just like threw it down and like stomped it out, I would have been like, this dude's crazy. But like, okay, like, cool. I mean, Snoop Dogg rips blunts before he goes on and performs, but like, he didn't rip one on the Super Bowl. He did one before he went out on stage. Like,
I'm almost sure he did that.
But there was a camera angle. They did catch it, but it wasn't on the feed. But yeah, like, don't smoke. Just don't do what he did, and also don't drink and drive, Rocky. But that's all I got to say. Stinky show. Sorry if I shouldn't have mentioned the Rock thing. It's already on our Instagram reels. So enjoy. Anything from me before I go, guys? Sorry, I have to go. I have work. I have to wake up at 7 for work.
Matt, happy to have you. Thank you for being
Good
here.
luck with that.
Yep. Have a good night. Have a good day at work. When you get out, make sure you don't end the stream.
Leave studio.
And,
Yeah, I got it.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Love you guys. Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Later, pal.
Are you sure you want to leave studio? Yes. Changes you made may not be saved.
There you go.
Thanks for narrating.
uh,
Well, now that Matt's gone, let me just counteract it because now we don't sound cool. Smoking blunts is cool. I don't know what Matt's talking about. Don't vape. Vaping's bad. Vaping's really bad. Vaping is lame ass shit, bruh. If I catch my homies vaping, they're not my homies anymore. They're my enemies, and I'm gonna press them until they change their ways and better themselves. Anyway, weed's cool.
Nathan in the comments saying Raw on Netflix tonight, and there are probably a lot of new fans watching for the first time. They wouldn't understand the whole storyline with The Rock and Roman. This is why Rock didn't turn heel or on Roman. I think that's fair to an extent. I think, yes, you're absolutely right. There were a bunch of new eyes on the product tonight, a bunch of new faces in crowds, and God willing, a bunch of new wrestling fans that are going to have access now thanks to Netflix. That said, while we do have to cater to those people to an extent, we do need to acknowledge, no pun intended, the people who have been watching for a very long time. You need to find a way to walk that line, thread that needle in a way of making sure everyone's happy. I don't think they didn't turn Rock because this was a new audience with Netflix. I think The Rock is just, he wants to be a babyface until the next time he's ready to turn heel for a match against either Roman or Cody. And considering the likelihood of that happening at this WrestleMania is rather slim, I think the idea is when he comes back, eventually we will see Rock heel again in a bigger capacity. I get it.
I think, well said, but I don't even think you owe it to the fans who've been watching for him to, stay heel or stay in character. But, like, you don't owe it to the people watching for the first time. Like, what he did does not help the first time viewers. Because that disengages them from the story because there's no story. So what are they there to sink their teeth into? Like, if a new viewer watches a show for the first time, they have to figure out what's going on, what's the story, what is this character doing. But Rock wasn't a character, he was a corporate figure.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for the new fans to attach to. He was just there, and it meant nothing. So let's say you started watching, I guess because even my friends, let's say you started watching Squid Game, like because season 2 just came out. It would be like if Jihan came out and just talked about how successful season 1 was.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
it wasn't in character. Whereas like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be watching Squid Game from season 2, but like you can, based on the story, have some context to figure it out. And there's this thing with wrestling, which they do better than anyone, which is video packages and recap packages. So like that's your thing to catch the people up who are viewing for the first time. Like if they're viewing for the first time, why would they care about what The Rock's doing? Because he didn't do anything. Like,
Yep.
he didn't set up a new story or continuous ongoing story. There's nothing to sink your teeth into. And I think that's a bad way to go about it. Or I just think having a press release for the first 30 minutes of your show is also bad. But, like, if all these first time viewers, they're going to be like, wow, this is a spectacle. But, like, there was nothing to it. So, I don't know. I do think Nathan put it well. I just disagree with the method of babying new fans.
I agree. No, I agree. BX in the comments saying throwing aside the Cody stuff for new people is still dumb. I get not having him turn on Roman though. I agree with you. WWE, Rock, everybody backstage was clearly just banking on the idea that people are going to be excited to see these faces no matter what they do. They were
And
banking on.
I do think we're in the minority to a degree, but please continue.
No. I mean, look, I said it before. I don't know if I said it on the pod or if I said it in a chat or whatever. I'm always just going to be happy to see The Rock. I'm a Rock fan. So it's just going to make me happy that he's there. But if he is there, he's been back long enough and he's been back enough that just showing up isn't enough anymore. You need to be doing something with your time. And that's not what tonight was, unfortunately. It's a bummer, but it's just, that's the reality. So I'm not offended. I'm not pissed or anything. But again, we talked about it already ad nauseum. A half hour into your show with no wrestling and just basically doing the same thing twice and doing something that didn't benefit the show at all, but just was sort of corporate necessity. It's a bummer and it sucks. But hopefully when Rock does come back, because it's not an if, it's a when he does come back, he is able to shift things back into gear, whether that's as a babyface or as a heel, and is able to do things of substance again and isn't just a corporate talking head. Time will tell on that one. But back to this match between Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to get into all the nitty gritty just because it's late. But the finish of the match coming after Drew hits a Claymore onto Jey. Jey kicks out of it. Drew goes for another Claymore, but Jey collapses and Drew doesn't even go all the way for it. He picks him up. Drew is mad. Drew is frustrated. Drew is arrogant. And as he goes for the kill shot once more, Jey is able to cradle him and get the 1-2-3, getting the surprise pin over Drew McIntyre. I thought the match was fine. It wasn't bad. It was just, it felt like it was just there. As a Drew fan, I'm sick of seeing him continue to take these losses, but he did get a big win over Sammy, so I guess it is balancing itself out in some ways. I'm though in the situation or of the belief he's lost to Jey Uso. Why should I care about him continuing his pursuit of the bloodline and therefore Roman Reigns? Danny, what did you think?
I didn't care for this at all.
Yeah.
The match was mid. I mean, this is hypocritical because we're AEW fans, but like, why is Jey kicking out of a Claymore in a fucking filler match on Raw? Like, what?
And the
fuck?
Claymore is a very protected finish too. Not many people could say they've kicked out of Claymores.
And why are we pinning Drew here? Like, I didn't get. Why was this on the show at all? I'd rather them just both been involved in the tribal combat match.
Yep,
Like,
I agree.
I did not need this as its own entity. I'd rather have had a women's IC title match or Penta's weird debut. Like, this just did not need to be here. But I get it. You want to have a Jey Uso entrance on this. That's the only reason this was here is because they wanted him to have his big cinematic entrance on Raw. And it was dope. Don't get me wrong. Literally, there was dope there. And, like, which is dope, you know? But, like, I didn't need this. I did not need this at all. I hated. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. This was fine at best. But, like, I don't want Drew losing. I want him to beat Roman, honestly.
Yeah, no,
So,
I
like,
do too. He's owed a win over Roman.
Yeah, and now I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Me neither.
But you know, it's whatever. Like, I get why it's here. Like, this is one where it's not for me, but I totally get why it's here.
Yeah. No, I do too. Like, it should be for me. I'm a gigantic Drew fan. I like Jey enough. I I don't know. I'm more interested in seeing Drew at this point interacting with Cody and I guess by extension KO than him taking out these individual bloodline members one at a time.
Well, I would like to hold off on the Cody thing a little longer because it's not the time to do that. But I do agree. I'm with the like KO stuff, and Seth will, I believe, be part of this in a way too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great when the three of them unite and are the sword, I guess, and fucking wreck shit. You know, like
Yep.
I'm for that. It's just weird. I want Jey to exist separate from this shit because, like, I'm not a big Jey fan, but I love what he's done and managed
Yes.
to do, and it's like, don't waste that in this like flickering, like fading bloodline stuff. Let him thrive. He is unbelievably over to a degree I don't even think is warranted, but it's so impressive. Like, fucking do something more, do something better with it. Like, don't squander it in the hopes of giving it to someone else. Like, it just roll with it. Like, just don't wait to have LA Knight beat Logan Paul. You know, just do it. You know, like
Yeah.
this is just do it. You know, I'm this hypocritical because I just complained about him winning this match, but this is not the spot where I want him to be in. I want him feuding with other people.
Yeah. No, I more or less agree. This tweet, imagine being a new fan and seeing the absolute unit that is Drew McIntyre walking out to gallantry for the first time off the back of Jey Uso's entrance. I think Drew looked like a badass. I just think he shouldn't have lost. Sup Navarro, saying sup everyone. Love the kickoff to the new era. I'm very glad you enjoyed it, Navarro. This was a very hit and miss kind of show for me, unfortunately. But I am happy to see WWE in this position of such prosperity.
Well,
Hopefully,
let me
they're
put it
able to
like
capitalize.
this to piggyback off that. I am ecstatic for what the show is going to be like in 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah,
where we're
I
done
agree.
with the fucking self-fellatio, guest appearance bullshit, and we just get into the nitty gritty. And Raw looks like this, but it's like a good episode of Raw. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for that shit. Like, I'm being negative on this show, but this is not like it's gonna be so good in like 2 to 3 weeks. I know it will.
We just got to get through the
this.
transition. Yeah.
And it's a transition that a lot of people are going to enjoy, but they're stupid and wrong.
If you're new, I get it. If you're new and or a lapsed fan and you're looking to get back into it, or if this is your first exposure to it, it is electric. It is energizing. I do get that. But if you're one of us and you've been in the trenches for as long as we've been in the trenches, whatever, bro. I feel bad because I don't want to be negative, but I just I was speaking with people who are not diehards tonight. I was speaking with people who are more casual fans. I was speaking with people who are lapsed fans coming back, and they were enthralled with this show. They loved Jey versus Drew. They loved Punk versus Seth. They were into The Rock being there. They were into Cena being there. And I was so happy for them. I was legit so happy for them. But The Rock's done this before. If we're going to be honest, Cena's done this before. Triple H has done this before. And the highlights of the night for me were Cena, Rhea winning, and yeah, those are my highlights for the night.
Yeah.
Craig on Twitter.
I would say the main event was a highlight.
It was a good match. It was a good match. It's just I'm not thrilled with the winner, personally.
Well, the right person won, so it's weird that you feel that way.
Let's just agree to disagree. We'll get into that in a second. But we do have some comments from Navarro.
Navarro gets it.
Navarro saying that this was a business-motivated show. Absolutely. They were pushing their success agenda, and they've earned it for this first week, second week, I'm sure, too. But after that, I'm really hoping things get back to business. Navarro saying next week I think is going to be insane because now it's going to be Raw. This was the business Raw. It was always going to be. I don't disagree with you. I am looking forward to the card that they presented. Navarro saying The Rock, I wasn't happy with tonight. Thought after he did Corporate Rock, said, let's the show begin, and came out, he should have betrayed Roman. Yeah, we were all expecting at least something with Roman, whether it was betrayal or a big or a more overt tease of a match between the two. Yeah, not a whole lot on that front. And Navarro saying Penta versus Gable is something he's hyped for. We are too. We're just not thrilled that Gable is going to be eating another pin.
We're hyped for the bell to bell, but not the idea around it.
Yeah, exactly. This comment, don't understand this. Jey didn't need the win, and Drew would have been even more impactful if he beat every single member of the Bloodline. I agree, but I also think that this isn't over, and he's just going to beat the shit out of Jey next week.
Yeah, but I hate that. I hate
Yeah,
that.
I do too. I do too. That
You want to
bullshit
put-
50-50 booking. It's not even really 50-50 booking.
But whatever. What's next?
Yeah.
Main event?
Yep, we're on to the main event because we covered Hogan, and here we are, Seth freaking Rollins taking on CM Punk. This was probably the most anticipated match of the night for a lot of people. This was, in a lot of people's eyes, the rightful and only main event they could have put on. Oh, there is one thing we should talk about beforehand. There was a Gunther hype package, and Gunther did not make it on the show, which is just a bummer. And then there was a New Day situation backstage where Gabriel Iglesias was able to get TV time in a world where the World Heavyweight Champion wasn't able to. And New Day traded barbs with them before Alpha Academy came out. Saved, I guess, Iglesias from a tongue lashing from the New Day. And Fluffy started a New Day sucks chant on his way out. To the main event. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically this was a spot fest, and I say that in the most positive way possible. All right, let's see this tweet from Big Bronson Reed. Due to injury, you guys missed out on me making Seth and Punk both call me daddy, then rip a fat bong hit and give Hulk Hogan 12 tsunamis. Man, I don't know where this has come from him, but I am loving it. His tweets lately have been hilarious.
Months.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wasn't paying enough attention on Twitter, but these last few weeks, his tweets have been hilarious. But yeah, this was a match that saw Seth hitting GTSs, Punk hitting curb stomps, Seth hitting a pedigree onto the announce table, and then another pedigree in the ring. Rollins came at him with a buckle bomb and then a blackout, and then Punk was able to get his foot on the ropes. Seth then puts him on the top and climbs to join him for a Falcon Arrow, but Punk knocked him down with a right hand. Seth, starting to groan, is losing his mind, charges the ropes, hits the superplex, rolls through, but Punk counters into a GTS. Rollins is still on his feet, but bounces off the ropes and then lands into another fireman's carry position with Punk on his knees. Punk lifts him up once more, another GTS. It's over, and CM Punk gets the win over his hated rival, Seth Rollins. I thought the match was fine. Let's see this tweet. Punk and Rollins getting the main event spot that they both deserve over the Bloodline and the Rock politics. Guys, this is Monday Night Raw. I'm really happy for them that they got a main event, and it's telling that they got a main event. Good for them. They've earned it. It's Monday Night Raw. I don't care that it's on Netflix. It's Monday Night Raw. What did you think of the match, Danny?
Well, I don't know what you meant with that Monday Night Raw comment, but
It's like it's not a. They didn't main event a pay-per-view over Roman. Like, granted, this was treated like a pay-per-view, but this isn't Mania. This isn't what Punk is looking for. He's not looking for
Right,
that
but
main.
they still main evented over Roman on a show he wrestled on. Like that's something. That's something that doesn't happen. You know, it's still something.
I think we
But
got to acknowledge that's more of a Solo Sikoa effect than a Roman Reigns effect, or a Seth
nah,
Rollins.
Roman's wash, bro. But you know, maybe
Oh,
you
I
could
like
try it
that.
once in a while. What?
I like this tweet. CM Punk dedicated his win against Seth Rollins to TNA's Chris Bay. Still sending our best wishes to Chris Bay, who is dealing with a very, very difficult neck injury. Wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yeah. Good luck to Chris Bay. That's best wishes. But I like the match. It was fine. Like they can do better. We all know they can do better, and they're probably saving it for like a SummerSlam rematch, or you know, if I had my way, they never wrestle again, and Seth will never get his win back. But you know, I like the match in some parts. I like the pedigree on the table, and then throwing him back in the ring and hitting another one, because one thing it bothers me a little bit is like hitting a big move on the outside is great, but then rolling them in and just going for the pin never like gels well with me, because it's like there's been so much time. Just hit another move. I like stacking moves together to try to get a pin. I think it makes the near fall better than hitting a move and then you know, whatever. That's I don't want to get too far deep into that, but so I like that. I thought Punk's stomp was terrible, which of course it was going to be. No one does the stomp good. It's just Rollins. Like no one else should ever be doing it.
Do you think Mox hits a good one?
No, God no. It's like the softest looking. It's like it's more like a kick than a stomp. You know, it's a very cute kick, but it's not a great stomp.
Fair enough.
You know, so like that was nice that he had a bad stomp, and you know, Seth hit a decent GTS, which is like, you know, Punk hits a decent GTS, so pretty on par. So like, you know,
fair.
it was good. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little tired for this. Like the show dragged on. I didn't like the pacing of the show, so like by the time I got to this, my levels were down. So like it was a little harder to get into than like, you know, maybe it shouldn't have main evented, so I could have been more hyped for it. But you know, the right person won. I don't really think that's up for debate.
I'm debating. I was rooting for Seth, but I think that
That's
says more about
crazy.
me. I think that says more about me than the match or the show or the feud.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, man, I get it. I'm still mad about the AEW stuff too, but like, you know,
Who does this guy think he is, getting us our second most viewed video of all time up for the channel? Who does he think he is?
and it was very reminiscent of Mox AEW match with Punk. Sorry, as we know more comments. Yeah, it was. It was fine. Like, okay, why did you want Rollins to win? Please, I'm interested.
I feel like Seth needs a big win, and I also am fine with Punk losing everything. But that's just a me thing. That said,
are you mad about like Brawl Out or something?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Is that some like kayfabe thing? Is that a legit thing? I don't know.
No one knows. We'll never know.
Punk basically said on the post show that once Seth Rollins drops the Joker gimmick, he's one of them ones.
See, that I disagree with, because
it's the one thing that's really gotten him over, like, consistently.
Yeah. Like it's lasted the longest. None of his other gimmicks worked for a long, besides like the Authority Architect, like Seth. You know, like nothing's lasted long. Like people talk about the Colts Seth, but that lasted like 4 months. It never got off the ground. It never did anything.
Everybody got fired. Like
Yeah.
Austin Theory went back down to NXT, AOP got fired, Buddy Matthews got fired, everybody left him. It didn't get to last.
Yeah, so like it, that had potential, but it never realized it.
Yeah.
2019 babyface Seth didn't work out because of Seth the person, not
Yeah.
because, like
Not being a real enough babyface.
so like what else was he gonna do?
CM Punk just said that he's coming for Gunther and Cody. Don't go for Gunther, man. You're gonna die. I have my issues with you, but I don't want you to die.
See, that's another. I would love for Gunther to both beat Cena and Punk with chops in the same year.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. But
Yeah.
okay,
Let
so like
let him choke out Punk, let him powerbomb Cena.
okay, so to get back into it, to me, Seth couldn't have won this match. And to me, he shouldn't win the feud, but I feel like he probably will if whenever they have the rubber match down the line, because Seth will get his win back. But to me, it doesn't work if Seth wins, and that's me. This is my own personal thing where I can't let go of the fact that I don't want Seth to win, despite loving him, because I believe he was wrong to bootlick so hard for so many years. I know Punk is hypocritically doing it now, but like I won't ever say that Punk was wrong for leaving WWE when he left it, or he was wrong for the things he said while he was gone. So like I don't like the idea of the guy saying that Punk was the bad guy for that winning the feud.
He was
Because
trying
then
to
it's just
ruin his
WWE. It's more
livelihood.
self-indulgence. It's more like, oh, see, we were right and he was wrong, sort of thing. And I won't let them take that from me. We were right to hate the product 10 years ago. And I don't like this revisionist history they're doing in so many parts of the show. And Punk is like the one, like, last piece of that we have to be like, no, we were right. The shit sucked. Like, we were right to boo. And like, Seth, they released like the 30-minute interview Seth did to hype this match, and it was good, but like I would go in and out of liking it because there would come a part where it's like, well, this is my problem because I get it. You're like, oh, like he's mad because no one else quit with him, and it's like, no, he didn't ask anyone to quit with him. Like you're trying to find ways to make Seth look good for his bootlicking, and it's just very transparent.
See, but I
I'm
do
just-
feel I will say legit. I do think I remember hearing stories from wrestlers where Punk cut a lot of people off if they were still in WWE. Like I remember hearing Corey Graves talk about it.
It's because he thought they were going to angle to get something from him, not.
But do you
because they
see how
didn't quit.
paranoid that is?
No, but it was like Chris Jericho reaching out to him, bro. You want him on your podcast? You're
Oh, I'm
reaching out in
sure.
good faith.
I'm sure
know?
there are a bunch of like for every Jericho though. Like what did Corey Graves want? I don't think Corey was trying to do any like. I know Corey does wave the WWE flag very proudly, but like I don't think he was angling for anything from Punk. I think Punk's just a paranoid guy sometimes. I think that's fair to say.
Sure, but like it's very common in normal jobs to cut ties when you leave. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm out. Like I think it's a very, very normal thing, but it's only because it's such a public thing with wrestling. And were his relationships really that bad? Because how many people were in the company were supporting him when he had his UFC fights?
So in
Like-
27 years, when this podcast ends, are we not going to maintain our friendship afterwards?
Thanks so much for watching, guys. It's been a real pleasure.
Don't do that to me.
The music. No, but like, come on. Like,
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I was never thrilled. I was never crazy about how this feud was ever presented. I think Drew, I think his feud with Drew was the blueprint to how to make it work. And then they did it with Drew to the point that you could not believably enjoy it to the same level with Seth. I just don't think they could have done it. And it's a byproduct of Punk getting hurt. It's a byproduct of how good Drew is, that he was able to take that opportunity and run with it. But I think there was a good feud here. I think it existed, or it could have existed. I just don't think they had the tools to realize it. And I blame the company more than I blame Seth or Punk.
Yeah, I see that. But I actually think the feud was good for what it was. It just, like you said, it's never going to compete with Drew because that was magical.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the key differences was Drew hit all the notes better without being so like on the nose. Like he criticized Punk for being toxic, and he would mention the problems he's had other places, but like, or it's like Seth is, that's all it is. Like you said bad things about the place that sucked because while I worked here, like it's so close, but it's just like, and it's weird because, and this is my other problem, and this is more with the fans than the company, is they're acting like these two guys are so fucking similar when they are not. Okay, cool. They were both Ring of Honor champion. Like a lot of people have been Ring of Honor champion. Like they were both cult leaders. We just spoke about how Seth's cult never got off the ground. And his cult was nothing like the Straight Edge Society. You know what was like the Straight Edge Society? The Planet's Champion. Those two things are comparable. Seth's cult probably would have been closer to the Wyatt family's NXT version than anything. Like Seth would just say nonsense, and it was called like Punk didn't say nonsense. He just said things that were true to a degree, but people don't like it because people like vices. Same thing with Brian. Like those are more similar. Like Seth has never been a Punk type. Do you know who's been a Punk type? Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson. Like, who's been a Punk Brian Danielson type? Becky Lynch. Who's like, they're not of the same mold. Like, Seth's never been the guy that got over in spite of the company. Like, he's never been the guy that got over even though the company didn't want them to be that over or
From day one
reach
for
that
him.
level.
Yeah, from
They
day
are
one
not
for him, he was
similar.
loved.
I hate the comparisons that people are like, oh, they're like, those are the guys. Like, no, this isn't a Punk dream match. This is just a Punk match. Like, the same way Edge Roman wasn't a dream match to anyone. Like, that's just a match you can do with big names. But, like to me, that never gelled with me. And I love Seth. Everything I'm saying about this makes it seem like I don't love Seth. Seth has been my favorite Shield member since 2012. Okay? Like, he is my guy. But in certain, there are times where I don't like him. I didn't like when he pulled the bank account thing with Will Ospreay in 2019.
Yeah,
And
very
I did
tone
not
deaf.
give a fuck about Will Ospreay at that time. But I just thought that was the lamest fucking shit that he did. And I was like, this is why you're a bootlicker. And this is why, like, you're a loser who's ruining his own popularity. Like he brought that on himself. Like, ultimately, like, they're not the same. And he did this, and also he just did the shit with Cody. Like I'm sorry, but like you can't be the baby face when you're waving the flag for the company that was the bad guy for so long. And they were also just the bad guy on TV too for the majority of the time. Like it's very common for WWE to be the bad guy in reality and in kayfabe. So like when you're that guy, like it's not, you can't do a rah-rah speech when the company's been heel for the majority of its lifespan. Like it doesn't work. Match was good though.
No, I agree with you. And look, overall, I'm not going to get too invested in Seth on this, just because, quite frankly,
this was an appetizer for the bigger match that we know is eventually going to happen, and it's not going to make any sense either. I mean, I think it could, but Roman versus Punk is on the horizon, and it will be a true mystery to see if Punk is going to get the hat trick and destroy all three members of the Shield. This tweet, CM Punk came back because he wanted to main event WrestleMania. What if Cena wins the Royal Rumble and main events versus CM Punk as champion? I think more realistically, we're going to see Cena take Punk's main events than I think we're going to see Punk actually main event with Cena.
Okay, so now after I said all that stuff about Seth, and I don't want Punk to be like shown as in the wrong in this one. On the flip side, I do kind of want Punk to not main event. I really kind of.
So you just want everybody to fail. You want most people to fail. You want Cena to fail. You want Punk to fail. You want Seth to fail. You wanted Roman to fail against Solo.
No, that's all coincidence. I wanted Rhea to succeed.
Fair enough.
I want Chad Gable to succeed.
CM Punk kind of bleed in the Fortnite. I think we do got to spend a second talking about WWE's presentation. Yes, it definitely upped its game. Yes, it looks great on camera. Man, I hate that ring mat so much.
I hate it too, but it's not worth fighting. We'll get used to it in a couple weeks.
I agree, and I'll even say I don't have any moral thing against the Fortnite ring. I just wish that the middle of the mat was clean. Maybe that's like my one bugaboo. Like, put something in all your corners, put something on all your edges. Just maybe leave the middle of the ring clean. But
I don't. It doesn't bother me that much. I feel like isn't New Japan's ring like the same way? Like very.
Again, they got stuff in the corners, on the edges, but like the middle of the mat is clean.
I mean, it's fine. I don't love it, but like it just like it's one that I'm not gonna get up in arms about that. Like, capitalism's bad and all that, but like I'm not. It's a fight I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna bother. There's no point.
That's the spirit, kids. Know when to fold them. But guys, that was Monday Night Raw. That was the beginning of the Netflix era of WWE. Or at the very least, the Netflix era of Monday Night Raw, because SmackDown's going to be on TV as is NXT. There were highlights of the show. There were some bright spots. Overall, a little bit of, I don't want to say a dud, but I guess a little bit of a letdown. We got this tweet. Imagine if Trish Stratus just came out to pose with Gunther after he wins a match. It's not the same. It was weird, but like I get how we get there with Taker and Rhea.
Tattoos, wears black. Like it's it's shallow, but that's their logic.
Yeah, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. Tonight saw the return of The Rock, and for some reason, I guess the babyface turn of The Rock.
No, that was Dwayne Johnson.
Fair enough. The babyface turn of Dwayne Johnson. We saw Roman Reigns reclaim the head of the table mantle, the true bloodline leader. We saw John Cena begin the farewell tour officially. Seth Rollins and CM Punk had maybe their first, maybe their last match of their feud. We won't know. Rhea Ripley reclaimed the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and lots of teases for what's to come in the weeks following. I'm of the belief next week will be better. I think next week is going to feel like a much better Monday Night Raw than this week. But I understand to a degree that we needed to get through some of the stuff that we got through tonight. Danny, last opinions, last feelings, last thoughts, and hopes for the future.
There was no Becky, so this show sucked.
It's pretty fair. Okay. Yep. Austin, You're killing me. Austin did not show up tonight, which was interesting. I have a weird feeling that the guy just knows if he shows up too much, people are going to start digging.
Well, he's also just smarter than the other legends and just doesn't. He's not a dude. Just wants to live a simple life with his cat. Let him do it.
Poncho.
You know, just let him be. He's the smartest one. He's not showing up for this fucking like hollow glory, like nostalgia bullshit. Like he's had his share. He picks and chooses his spots. He's the smartest legend by far. Except for his comments on CTE.
Yes. And his opinions on women. Or I guess his actions towards women. I truly think the Triple H era is the reason why we're not seeing Austin as much. I think if Vince was still at the head of the table, Austin would show up for these things. I believe it in my soul.
I feel like he didn't show up that much even when Vince was there.
I'd agree to an extent, but like for everything he didn't show up for, he had a moment talking to an empty arena during the Thunderdome. For everything he didn't show up for, he main evented one last WrestleMania against Kevin Owens and had a moment with Vince where he stunned him in the middle of the ring after the Pat McAfee thing. This tweet, Becky Lynch was reportedly in town for the show and was originally set to return during the Ripley versus Morgan match tonight. However, her comeback was nixed to allow focus on the moment between Rhea Ripley and The Undertaker. Lynch's return is still expected soon, and her WrestleMania plan should become clear when she does. Does that make you hate it a little bit more, or do you not believe it?
No, it made me. I thought of that immediately when it happened, and I was like, "Fuck this." But I also think that's just 100% speculation.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, but like, it would track because Triple H hates women, and he has bumped Becky Lynch from big shows before.
Yep.
But like, that's just that wouldn't make sense because you could also do that whenever, and it like the Taker thing doesn't add anything, whereas the return to set up potential programs would be better. And it just to give the women a moment, like you keep giving the men with the legends and all this shit, like just like that would be the dumbest fucking shit if that's their logic for doing it, because the Undertaker coming out meant nothing. But like I said, I think that's just speculation and an easy one to make. But you know, maybe she's being punished because she's gonna be in a movie with MJF, you know? Who knows?
The True Forbidden Door, an Adam Sandler movie. Yes, no one. Barbie and Oppenheimer both crushing it in the same week, and it's a picture of Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley. I want this so badly. I know apparently I'm the only one, but I want that matchup. I want that feud so badly.
I mean,
and let it be like
it's a great match on paper, of course, but it's like one where you're just saying it, and I'm like, it's kind of just apropos of nothing. Where I'm like, yeah, sure, it's just no one's thinking about that right now because that's. But also, I think everyone would rather see them buddy up for like that's a buddy cop movie if I've ever seen one.
I want a Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle type feud / friendship / rivalry / relationship. And
I want better than you, baby, but good at the
end. That would be good.
That would be good. Because they've had the one tag match on that pre-tape Raw a couple months ago, and everyone loved it. People just want to see them as friends, as unlikely bedfellows, because that's like Wednesday Addams, like that's the dynamic people want, and I get it. It's a fun polar contrast.
I got nothing on that tweet, Eric.
Crash Bandicoot's better, but
Damn. But all right, we're gonna be taking it home. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We definitely had a lot of faces come in, a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces come in. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Let us know we're doing something right by you. If you're a new viewer, hit that subscribe button. That way you can join the party. We've grown a lot in the last few weeks, and the party just keeps on getting bigger. If you like what we're doing here and you want to check us out on other platforms, we're everywhere. If you want to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, we're on all of them. And the guys are just killing it on all platforms. Danny fighting the good fight on X on a daily basis. Matt making the world remember that Seinfeld was a thing on Instagram. And yeah, we love you. We really love you. Thank you for joining us in this new year. We've had a busy week so far, and it's only going to get busier. And I'm very, very tired, and my throat is giving out. Danny, anything you want to say to the crowd before we go?
There's no Becky. The show sucked.
Fair